The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning.
Standard Heating and Air Conditioning wants to wish you a happy holiday season and wants to let you know that Standard Heating is ready if you face a heating emergency. Their expert team is available through the holidays to make sure you stay warm and safe, no matter what. Become a Smart Club member so that you'll have peace of mind knowing that you're covered for the upcoming winter season. For more info or 24/7 emergency heating services, call 612-824-2656. Comfort you deserve since 1930.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show. 93.
Man, I'm going to struggle right here from the get-go, Josh.
What's going on? Can I help?
Yeah, you probably can. I got behind in my preparation, and before we went live, I didn't get a chance to do my mouth exercises.
Oh, you do those. That's true. Have you seen that yet, Ashley, now that you're sitting in here with us?
I've never noticed.
651-989-9393 if you have any idea of any mouth exercises that I might be interested in, you might be interested in, that we might be interested in together. Yeah, I didn't get a chance to warm up.
Yeah, he stretches his mouth before every broadcast.
The yapper, the word giver.
I'm surprised you haven't seen him do that.
Yeah, how do you do it?
I stretch it all out.
Can I see?
651-989-9393. You can only imagine what's happening on the text machine right now as I discuss my mouth exercises, stretching it out.
Me watching you do it.
Josh has to watch me do it. He's been watching me do it for years. You've never noticed? It's disgusting what I do over here.
No, I never noticed.
Well, because sometimes, like, if you're talking to him, see, he does that. And so while you're talking, he does that.
I guess I probably thought you were just yawning.
Oh,
For like 3-4 minutes?
Yeah.
the longest yawn on record?
Yeah.
Did you think I was yawning or maybe just losing my mind?
Yeah, I must have. I guess that makes sense.
Does he want me to throw something in there? Why is he doing that?
Right. I'm surprised you haven't done that after all these years. You just bring a bag of popcorn, and when I'm over here doing my mouth exercise, you just see if he can land one. I better check these text messages. I'm sure our listening audience has some great ideas for last-minute mouth exercises that I could perform.
Can you fit your fist in your mouth?
No.
Yeah.
But possibly yours.
Yeah, I do have small hands.
I have bigger hands. You've got smaller little mitts, but possibly yours.
I wonder if you can. I mean, I wouldn't suggest it because I went number one, didn't have time to wash my hands.
Oh, God.
At least it wasn't number 2.
I always wash after that.
Thank God.
Always. Because I don't like toilet paper. It's bad for the environment. I'll just wipe that right off.
Oh, wow. All right. There's no turning back now. We've lit the lamp already. We're going to have to go ahead here with the Wednesday edition of the 93X Half-Ass Morning Show, whether I got my mouth exercises in or not. We thank you for listening.
E-commerce Jesus recommends tea. Oh, I'm sorry, tea bagging. I didn't read the text right away.
I'll kill a guy.
We've seen it.
I'll kill a guy if he teabags me.
Very disappointing, especially from the person who did it. I expected better.
One of the worst things I've ever seen in person. It ruined my night. It ruined my weekend, Josh, when you and I witnessed a real live teabagging. Disappointing was a good word.
It's the only time I've ever seen one, like a real teabagging in person.
Oh, that was my only time as well. I thought it was a myth.
Yeah, I never saw it.
Oh, yeah, good. I don't want to see that either.
I thought it was a myth. We were having so much fun with these people at an out-of-town kind of a party, wasn't it, Josh?
Yep.
And, the 3, 4 in the morning, we've been drinking for 16 hours, but still having a really good time at the end of the night. Why did it have to happen at the end of the night?
Better than the start of the night.
No, it's not better than the start of the night. Had it happened at the beginning of the night, we could have just gone back to our hotel rooms.
Drank the memory away.
And Josh and I could have found something to do, just the two of us, and had a pleasant experience. We spent all day and night with these people thinking they were normal and the kind of people maybe we'd like to see again. And then the teabagging happened at the very end of the night. And like I said, it ruined any positive thoughts I had about these people and ruined the entire weekend.
Was he the same guy that pooped in the tub that weekend, or was that a different guy?
Oh, my
It
God.
was one of the two that were involved in this.
My memory is these are separate people. There was a
Okay.
guy who pooped in a tub.
Yep.
That we weren't big fans of that bit either.
I didn't see that. I just heard about that one.
Just
and then
animals.
at the end of the night, there was the teabagging.
Oh, screw both those guys.
Oh, absolutely, Ashley. It was just great word, just disappointing. I could go on and on about how disgusting. Everyone knows it's disgusting, how disrespectful. But it was the key word, disappointing. After all that time spent, we both walked out of there going, oh, come on, that's the type of people you are? Why didn't you tell us this at 7 o'clock?
Yeah. And that's not
We could have went to a movie.
right. And it's not like the type of teabagging where there's no contact or somebody has jeans on and it's real quick. Like,
No.
No, this was a full-on.
Yeah.
You got the full-on Egyptian goggles, huh?
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Offended Millennial Jesus has another idea for some mouth warm-ups.
Ow.
Okay, so this one involves your fingers. You take your index finger and then your middle finger and you make a V, and then you put it in front of your mouth and you wag your tongue. I got to say, that's something else I'm not a fan of.
No, that's disgusting.
The first time I saw it, I thought that was pretty funny. It was without the tongue wag. I don't think the tongue wag needs to be a part of it.
I think the movie Kingpin officially ruined it for everybody.
Oh, maybe that's why. That was disgusting.
Yeah, that was.
You know where I stand on this, Josh.
Yeah, and I feel the same.
The worst gesture, it instantly means you're not a good person.
I used to do that when I was like in middle school.
Did you ever do it because you meant it or just to be funny?
No, just to be weird to like my friend across the classroom for me.
Now, I have to say, I saw a coworker of ours, a female coworker of ours, do it in a very funny context. That one got me because it was so shocking and unnecessary. It was kind of like waving back to someone. That's how she chose to say hello. That was kind of funny.
Ashley, no one's mad at you for doing that in junior high. When you're a kid, you make silly, silly mistakes. The last time we had a conversation about the split fingers and the tongue in the middle, that gesture, the last time we had this conversation, maybe you remember, maybe you don't. As you can tell, I've always hated that move. I thought it was that's all you got. That's your move, is the split fingers and the tongue in the middle. That's so stupid. There are so many other things that you can do to be funny or to be nasty, whatever it is you're going for. Oh, it galls me if ever I see someone make that move, especially now that we've been grown adults for years. But about, I don't know, a year ago, an old high school friend of mine must have been drinking one night because he starts sending all of us on our cellular telephones. He starts sending us old pictures. Here's us in 7th grade playing baseball. Here's us in high school doing this, that. And he's just bombing me and a few other guys with these old pictures. And he sends a picture of 4 of us, including myself. And in the picture, I could tell right when I looked at it, it was from when I was a senior in high school. And in the picture, I was making that gesture. And I was so, again, the word disappointed. So disappointed in myself. I had no memory of that picture being taken. And the pal who was sending these photographs, he made some comment like, man, look at us. He's kind of a cheesy dude. So he says, look how young we are, man. Look at the hair. This is a great picture. And I wrote back, delete this picture forever.
You want it wiped from existence.
I do. I was so sickened by the sight. So you shouldn't be mad at, I'll never be mad at you for that kind of a thing, Ashley. I'm still mad at myself. I'm busy being mad at myself.
Is it kind of like when you look back at a photo and you're like, oh my God, why was my hair that like that, or that's that haircut, or why am I wearing that?
Even worse, Josh.
Yeah,
even worse.
You've taken a stand against that act.
Oh God,
Well, let me ask you guys this. So I grew up in the 90s during the WWF Attitude Era.
Soft ass era, Josh, right? Soft as
The 90s or the Attitude Era?
The 90s. Soft as baby poo.
So the WWF Attitude Era, should I be embarrassed and disappointed in myself the amount of pictures I have of me and my friends doing the DX crotch chop?
Dude, I did it yesterday.
Okay, so it's still cool?
I think it's awesome.
Okay.
No, there's nothing to be embarrassed about there.
Okay.
That's
that was a
crazy.
powerful movement, the DX
Yep.
movement.
Yeah, I brought just out of nowhere. I brought that up yesterday.
Did you really?
I did it yesterday.
In what context was it?
To my son, I told him he could suck it.
Oh, so it's
2
just like
words
the
for you.
classic?
Yeah.
Well, looks like we
Oh.
wrapped up Dad of the Year a little bit early.
I mean,
I really snuck it in there, didn't I? Here we are, almost
Yep.
2025.
I'm definitely making fun of you a little bit for that, Dana. Come on, that's hilarious. You guys posed for like a picture like that.
Oh, so
that's
many.
awesome.
Always do that.
That
Actually,
is
we
so
Went into
funny.
college.
We
That's
all
great.
did it. Everyone did.
Really?
Everyone
Oh
did
my
it,
gosh,
yeah.
I never saw that.
When that was big, even if
Oh, yeah.
some people were doing it and didn't even know it was wrestling related.
Yep.
Right. It kind of, but you're right. It boiled over mainstream, didn't it?
It was massive.
All right, so Nick, to go back to the lady that we used to work with that did the tongue thing.
Was I there when a
No,
lady...
you weren't there, but I think this will help you enjoy the move.
You said this lady that we worked with busted out the split fingers with the tongue in the middle, and there was
You
something
could
about
guess.
it that was special. There was something that
It just was in a hilarious context.
you made an exception where normally you wouldn't enjoy that.
Because it just was so inappropriate for the moment.
Yes.
And it was like somebody was saying hello, and that's how she said hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
Former sales ladies, you could probably guess who it was. You had a major, major crush on her.
Yeah, I instantly know who you're talking about, and I always get a little bothered when you bring her up, Josh.
Why's that?
Because she had more of a crush on me than I ever had on her.
Oh, well, you've just said you had a crush on her on the air before, so I'm referencing that.
Oh, it's on-air stuff?
Yeah, yeah.
It's to
And
establish
there's another reason I'm not bringing that part up,
Man, yes, I remember her.
which I will write down for you.
There's something you're afraid to bring up on the air? No. He's writing something down. I'm not sure what's happening. But I always have to try to throw that into the mix. She had way more of a crush on me than I had on her. Oh, you're right. What you did, you wrote down some information about the two of us, me and that gal.
Yep.
Some information that we would never share on the air.
And that's why I made that a little more one-sided.
And that's why you make it more one-sided, that you establish that I had a crush on her. You were our smart man.
Well, I try to be at times.
Because this information should never get out.
No, it shouldn't.
Right. Okay.
That
You're
could
right.
do some severe damage.
I had an incredible crush on her. She had very little interest in me.
She basically ignored you.
Right. Where were you going with this? So there was something.
I was just saying, because you kind of had a look like you still didn't appreciate it, but now when I tell you who it was, I thought maybe you'd cut her some slack.
I do, because she was a special, special lady. She was.
March Madness Jesus said he almost got suspended in elementary school for doing the suck it.
Oh, yeah,
I
we
bet
got
a
big
lot of
trouble.
people did. Yep.
What about the middle finger?
I love the middle finger. The double middle finger, that does it for me, too.
Yeah, you love that.
The double bird, for whatever reason, is hilarious.
I absolutely love it. It's my go-to.
It's part of what drew you to Stone Cold Steve Austin, Josh, was
Oh, yeah,
the
many
double
things, but I
bird.
did like that,
That was
yeah.
part of it. Do you remember the first time you launched the middle finger at somebody, or the first time someone dumped it on you? I do remember.
Oh, really?
I don't.
It's crazy.
I'm sure it was my dad in traffic towards someone.
Oh yeah?
Oh, yeah, he
Okay.
had a temper.
I do remember it for some odd reason, and I guess there are circumstances. I was on the playground of my elementary school. We were first graders. Winston Elementary School. It doesn't exist anymore. It used to sit right in the heart of Wayzata, Minnesota. Just a little side note. Before they tore it down, oh, God, I don't know, early 2000s, maybe late 90s. Before they tore it down, it was the oldest elementary school in the state of Minnesota. And it was a historic kind of a thing. Little side note. But they decked it so they could build billion-dollar condos and whatnot. But first grade, I'm in the, on the playground. And two kids from my grade, who I didn't know, flashed the middle finger at me. And I had never seen it before. didn't know what the hell it was all about, but I could read the vibe that what they were sending my way with these hand gestures was not positive. So, okay, my feelings were a little hurt. I walked away. Later that day in school, I saw those two kids who had flipped me the finger, and I flipped it back at them. And there were two teachers standing there, and they went bananas.
Oh,
see, again, I didn't know what it meant. I just flashed it back at them just to be even with them, and these teachers went crazy. And so, oh my God, go to the principal's office right now. And I was just a deer in headlights. For what? I didn't even know. And they explained to me how rude of a hand gesture that was. Now, to wrap up the story, both of those guys, a year later, became two of my best friends. One of them, still to this day, is one of my best friends. The other one is incarcerated for the rest of his life. But anyway, we became tight after all.
That's a wonderful ending.
I wish I could remember the first time I saw it.
Yeah, me too.
It must have been my dad in traffic. It had to have been.
I remember the first time I got, shamed for doing it. I never really know what to do with my hands in pictures, so my go-to has always just been to flick off the camera. I'm starting to get a little bit better at it because I realize it kind of looks silly if you're in like a group photo and I'm the only one flicking the camera off.
And you're approaching 30.
Yep.
And you have.
But when I was,
you don't put them behind your back, put them in your pockets.
I get nervous.
Okay.
And so I don't know what to do with them.
It can happen.
A classic is to put your hand behind someone's head and make like a V with your forefinger.
That's another thing that
and it
I
says
do
they've
a lot.
got a lot of girlfriends.
It's
at least back from
that
elementary
means
school.
so.
Yeah.
But I was dating, and I met this guy, and I sent him like a quick Snapchat. So I'm not really thinking. I'm just like flicking off the camera, and he replied like, "Oh, don't do that. I don't like when people flick off the camera. I think it's like disrespectful or something." And I thought he was kidding because the way he said it, and so I sent him a picture back of me flicking off the camera again. And he became completely unhinged and went in on me about how like it's dumb and disrespectful.
Okay, fun police. Jesus.
Yeah, okay, and I knew this guy for like 4 hours at this point, Dana. I thought, all right, this isn't gonna go anywhere.
Sounds like 4 hours
too
too long.
long.
Middle finger at that point.
I thought, okay.
Did you have to kick the guy's ass or what? I mean, how far did he take this?
Oh, I blocked him after that. I thought, yeah, you're exhausting.
At times, my older kids and I will greet each other with a middle finger, sometimes a double, depending on the mood. Now, I know, Nick, you and I share this. I wish I could remember the first time I saw the middle finger, but I do remember the first time I heard a guy called another guy, calling another guy a bitch.
I love this one.
And I remember, I didn't realize how cool it was at the time.
I love this.
I thought for sure, like, this guy doesn't get it. You don't call another guy a bitch. That's not how that word is typically used. He's an idiot in this situation, but I didn't know he was some sort of revolutionary. This guy, to me, started this whole thing. I'd never heard it. This was 6th grade in recess.
Okay, so what year was it when you were in 6th grade?
86.
That's insane to me because it wasn't for another 6 years that I heard one guy call another guy a bitch.
Really?
Yeah.
Maybe it was an accident.
I thought he was revolutionary, if that's the word you used.
I just thought he was stupid and didn't understand.
So what was the situation again? Because I love how we have these comparable stories, relatable stories.
Well, these were two buddies that got into a fight on the playground. They were like best friends so my school was K through 8, right? And so that whole time, these guys were super close through high school, everything. We went to the same high school. But he just got mad at him and said, it was something to a fight like, you're being a bitch or something like that, or shut up, bitch. That's what it was, shut up, bitch. And we were looking at each other like, here's a guy that doesn't get it. What a moron. You made yourself look stupid. But I didn't realize what a genius he was.
I had the same response, and I was 21 years old. This was a fight was about to bust out front of my brother's house at St. Cloud State University. We had a lot of friggin' fist fights up there. And it was one of those nights where I wanted to try to help squash the situation. I was tired of the fist fighting. I was tired of everyone going to friggin' jail. Luckily, I was never one of the guys that went to jail, usually because I was on my back getting beat up. But I just wanted to be the mediator, if that's the word. So I stepped in between my group of friends and this other group of guys who wanted to fight out on the street, out front of my brother's house. And I walked up into this guy's face and I said, and I wasn't lying, between my brother and a few other dudes, we were a pretty tough group to beat in a fist fight. We were. We just had some fellas in my friend group that could throw MFing hands. So I said to this dude, I said, look, if you want to fight, we'll give it to you. But I said, you're going to regret the living hell out of it. Just walk the hell away, please. We don't want any problems. Walk away. And the dude said, take one more step at me, bitch. And just like Josh's response, I was so thrown that I looked behind me because I was convinced a woman must be approaching. I had never heard one man try to call another man a bitch, and at 21 years old, I was totally confused. In the end, there was a terrible fist fight, and I was right. We beat the piss out of these idiots, and they did regret the hell out of it. But yeah, that was 1992, and it still boggles my mind. and now you can't cross the room without one guy calling another guy a bitch. It's the trendiest, it's the most popular derogatory term of the last 25 years, I'm going to say.
And think about this. The most corporate guy we've ever had in this corporate building used to come into the studio and say, what up, bitches? Mm-hmm. It traveled that far. We're the nerdiest of nerdy are using the word.
I love traveling back in time with you, Cubby, and trying to figure out some of these little mysteries.
That was fun. It's how weird is it that there's certain silly milestones that you'll never forget?
Yeah.
And that's one of them.
I remember.
That's one of the biggest memories of middle school for me.
That's awesome.
You know what's going to happen is, my wife, who I understand the two of you become familiar recently. You're trading text messages.
Decades.
I'm glad the two of you have finally become
over 20 years.
One day my wife's going to ask me what I remember about she and I, the first time this or the first time that, or what did you think of me back in those? And I'm not going to remember those things, but I am going to remember the first time a guy called me a bitch and the first time I saw someone flip the bird, Why we remember these things, I don't know. That's a whole different conversation, I guess. For Christ's sake. All right, it is Wednesday, and we do appreciate you very much. A little bit later on today, we got that great prize from Arthur's Jewelers. Be listening if you want to get your hands on some hockey tickets. We got a game next week, the Pigs and Florida Panthers. And if you win those tickets, you qualify for a 1.5 carat diamond from Arthur's Jewelers for her. Man, what a hookup right here as we approach the holiday season. Wouldn't you say, Cubby?
Yeah. Did all of us buy our wedding rings or engagement rings, whatever you call it, from Arthur's?
Well, I know I'm one of them.
Yeah,
I'm one of them.
Ashley, do you remember you were married? It was real brief.
Not there.
Not there?
No.
Oh. Well, maybe had you gone there, things would have worked out a little better.
Yup, exactly.
Arthur's Jewelers.
I'll tell you more about this when we get there, but a little bit later on this morning, maybe around 7:30, when we start jaw-jacking about sports, we'll get someone into that Pigs game and qualify you for the prize. I'll give you all the details on the prize when the time comes. You're a terrific crowd. We'll take a little break ski and be back before you know it on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
There's a douchiness to them. The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Standard Heating and Air Conditioning wants to wish you a happy holiday season and wants to let you know that Standard Heating is ready if you face a heating emergency. Their expert team is available through the holidays to make sure you stay warm and safe, no matter what. Become a Smart Club member so that you'll have peace of mind knowing that you're covered for the upcoming winter season. For more info or 24/7 emergency heating services, call 612-824-2656. Comfort you deserve since 1930.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever find yourself playing the budgeting game? Well, with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive, you can find options that fit your budget and potentially lower your bills. Try it at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states.
O'Shea Jackson Jr. and TJ Jefferson bring their unique take on sports entertainment with no contest wrestling, with guests like WWE Hall of Famer Mark Henry.
What is that night like for you as world champion?
I remember getting in my hotel. I'm looking at the chair with the title on it, and I remember crying. I couldn't believe that it was in my room and that I was sitting here looking at this title like it was a person.
The No Contest Wrestling Podcast, part of the Rich Eisen Podcast Network, wherever you listen.
Stupid news on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
By God, we're going to get things started with one of those stories that I imagine a Christmas lover like you, Josh, you're going to love this here story. You're a Christmas lover.
I already like it.
Come this time of year, old Cubby over there, if there are not visions of sugar plums dancing in your head, you're dreaming of a story like this one right here. Because a drunk in a Grinch suit got arrested for acting like a jag-off at a Christmas party down there in the state of Alabama.
This is the mugshots are up on 93x.com.
Mm-hmm. The dude took his mugshot photo with the orange prison jumpsuit on over the top of his Grinch costume. He stayed in character all the way through the process of being arrested.
I love that they let him keep it on.
Mm-hmm.
They had to, right?
And we've talked about this before. Around the holidays, some of the mugshots are so great when the cops keep the costumes on. You get elves and Grinches and Santas. They're so awesome.
Again, a drunk in a Grinch suit got arrested at a Christmas party down there in Alabama. And adding to this perfect little mashup of Christmas gimmicks and alcoholic shenanigans, the local cops even dumped a pile of adorable Christmas puns into their official statement on the arrest. This is everything that you love come this time of year, Josh.
Wrapped up like a holiday present.
So the deal was last Sunday at what they call here the Maplesville Old-Fashioned Christmas Event in Alabama. The police noticed a feller dressed as the Grinch, and he was acting like a jag-off. They noticed him. They took a note of him. Okay, let's keep an eye on this prick. Later, at the official Christmas parade, the cops spotted the same dude still running around, pissing everybody off. He was loaded, and he couldn't stop bothering folks. So he was arrested and hauled on over there to the county jail. He was charged with all kinds of things: public intoxication, disorderly conduct, resisting arrest. I wish we had more details on that. Theft of property. I don't know, whatever. Maybe he snatched what's that bucket you throw the coins into at the mall? Maybe he snatched the
Salvation Army?
That's right. What else did he get charged with? Here's the beginning of the cute Christmas puns by the local police. They charged him with intent to steal Christmas cheer.
That's what the Grinch is known for.
Didn't know that was an official charge.
Now, here was the sheriff's office. Here was their official statement after they put the Grinch guy in the cooler to sleep it off. And I hate this kind of thing. I'm not a Christmas guy. I'm not a puns guy, but you guys will love it. And that's especially Josh will love it. And that's all that matters, Josh, is that you're happy. Our subject, the cop said, that's the Grinch guy, our subject is currently grumpy while he waits to get sober. The judge set a bond in the amount of 500 candy canes. And the condition of release is going to be 40 hours of community service work in Santa's workshop. At the end of this ordeal, while being released, the subject, again is how they refer to the man, showed remorse and felt all toasty inside. Then he thought of something he hadn't before. He said, "What if Christmas doesn't come from a store? What if Christmas, perhaps, means just a little bit more?"
Now I want to go watch the movie.
Me too.
And the sheriff's office went on to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Beautiful.
It's great in one of the photos where he's being let out in cuffs. When he's looking straight down like, oh, no. And he's still got the mask on. The face is perfect on it.
Nobody likes an annoying drunk at a Christmas party or any other event. But I got to give this dickhead credit. The fact that he stayed in character all the way through the process of his arrest says something about deep down what he's made of.
Yeah. And the cops, too, that they let him.
The one cop, as they're leading him out of the car, Grinch is in handcuffs. They're leading him out of the car to the jailhouse. The one cop is just laughing his nuts off. Yeah. He's having the best night of his law enforcement career.
Oh, that makes me happy.
You're right. One of them looks a little too serious, the older guy, probably because he's just seen it a million times over the years. But the younger guy, he's standing there like, this is why I got into this line of work.
You're exactly right. The older cop has seen enough of this crap.
He doesn't find it amusing
Every
whatsoever.
Christmas, somebody's got to do something stupid. I just want to get it. And the young guy's going, this is why I signed up for the gig. I knew you'd love it, Josh. Merry Christmas, Josh.
Merry Christmas to you as well and everyone listening.
All right, how many ninjas are we talking here? 100 ninjas? I'm going to tell you something or another here in a minute about 100 ninjas. Back in the mid-'90s, Josh, when you were a ninja, what's the most amount of ninjas that you ever had gather up at one time, and what was the occasion?
Well, I don't like to talk about this story.
I know you don't, but enough time has gone by now, I think, to where you'd grow more comfortable in having these conversations.
Well, I was hosting a surrender reveal, and due to my monumental cowardice, and I sent out an Evite. Evites were big back then, so somewhere in the neighborhood of 200 fellow ninjas, and not one person showed up.
Oh,
Sorry, Josh. I would have showed up.
None, Chucks, of them showed up.
So your answer is zero ninjas.
I was having a surrender reveal.
How could they do that to you?
I popped out of nowhere, and then I just curled up on the floor, and no one was there.
I'm sorry to hear about that. In Tokyo, Japan, summers in the neighborhood of 100 ninjas gathered on the streets together, and everyone else was running for their damn lives. I didn't see too many good pictures of the 100 ninjas, but then again, as we all know, it's difficult to ever get a good picture of a ninja because they're so damned elusive, right?
Yeah. Very, very sneaky.
You could be in the process of taking a picture of a ninja, and the prick will just, quick as a hiccup, he'll levitate out of there, and all you see in the picture is a blur. The 100 ninjas there in Tokyo all appeared. Nobody knows why they were there. Nobody had the balls to ask. The ninjas did allow some pictures to be taken of them. The 100 ninjas had lunch together in Tokyo. Even a ninja's got to get something or another to eat, right? As far as I know, there was no violence. So much has changed for ninjas over the last, I don't know how many years. Nowadays, in Tokyo, you can be taught the ways of a ninja at a ninja school, like you're getting your bartender's license or something.
That's sweet.
I got to admit, if there was a ninja class within my zip code, I don't like to travel outside of it, and only really half of the zip code, I'd be interested in taking ninja classes.
Back in the day, though, you probably would have preferred to do it the way they did it back in the day. Back hundreds of years ago, you were taught all the deadliest forms of martial arts warfare by a 1,000-year-old guy with a long mustache out in the jungle.
That's exactly what I wanted.
Yeah. Now, you can just go take a...
Or I knew four guys that learned karate down, or learned how to be a ninja down the sewer. That was back in the 80s and 90s.
Dana, Those weren't guys. Those were mutated turtles.
Oh, that's right.
They ate a lot of pizza.
And they were also teenagers.
Yeah.
Nowadays, you go to the ninja school, you drop a down payment at the front desk, and they'll have you scaling buildings, killing your enemies, and doing triple backflips after a simple 90-day program. But the 100 ninjas, they vanished after a certain amount of time. They're in Tokyo, and I guess keep an eye out.
I bet you could learn how to be a ninja on YouTube. I've learned so much from YouTube. I never even considered learning how to be a ninja. You know, I had a motorcycle that was a Kawasaki Ninja back in the day.
That's pretty baller.
And you know what? Thank you so much to the brother and sisterhood. We're here to support each other, each and every one of us. And they're saying that my fellow ninjas in the 90s, they did show up at my surrender reveal, but they remained elusive out of respect. They were practicing the craft that we had practiced so long. Thank you for that.
That puts a whole new paint job on that story.
That's how good we were.
Yeah.
I'm going to say the same thing about when my parents hosted a surprise birthday party for me when I was 10 and no one showed up.
Nobody showed up.
They must have invited all my ninja classmates.
Right. Man.
Have you guys watched, I don't think you have, the latest season of Cobra Kai?
Yes,
no,
I have.
I tuned out.
Oh, thank God, Dana. I watched some of it yesterday. It has gotten so out of hand.
It's so bizarre.
It's gotten.
What is going on?
A dude dies.
It was out of hand.
They take it further, Waffle.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Where you think it went, and it goes even further than that.
Just a bunch of kids fighting in school. One gets kicked off a second level.
Oh, now it's an international tournament, Waffle.
Oh, yeah, baby. They're not in the United States anymore.
I personally, I quit on that program quite a while ago, but they finally killed somebody on the program?
Somebody got killed off.
Well, that's a main character?
Main-ish, yeah.
That's
obviously
a step
not Johnny
up.
Lawrence or Ralph Macchio.
That's a step in the right direction that somebody finally got killed. Oh, was it that old leathery guy?
I don't want to say for anybody who's maybe watching it. But
No, say it. I want you to be the bad guy.
No, it's one of the kids, actually.
Oh, my gosh, that would be awful.
A young child?
Can you message me and tell me who? I'm never... it was way, 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 way too much.
To be honest, Dana, I was thinking what kid was it? But they probably wouldn't kill off a child, huh?
No,
That's kind of dark.
They killed one of the teenage competitors.
You know, I'm being reminded via text, and I can't believe I didn't remember this. I do have a ninja in my family. My brother-in-law, he's Ninja Brian, and he's on YouTube, Ninja Brian, if you've ever seen him.
Half me running.
So cool.
Ninja sex party.
All right, some folks have all the luck. Like this here gal in China who's gone into the medical record books. Doctors found a family of parasitic worms living happily under her eyelid.
Oh.
And this doesn't happen very often, so she's made the medical record books for that.
Do you guys remember the first time you ever saw those little floaties? Do you ever get that?
Yes.
I mean, I
thought for sure I had eye parasites.
Only a couple times it's happened. Freaks me out every single time.
Some type of infection led to live worms slithering around under her right eyelid. And I'll explain when we get a little further down the line.
You'd have to be able to feel them, right?
Oh, don't waffle. Oh.
Just squirming around.
Doctors are putting the blame on the lady's cat. So the story says here, the poor gal first went ahead and visited a doctor, saying that it felt like there was something irritating her right eye. They gave her some of those eye drops. That didn't work. A month later, the woman went back to the doctor and told him it felt like there was something or another moving around under her eyelid. When the doctors peeled back her eyelid, they saw the worm family swimming around in her eye juices. After filling a nearby trash can with his vomit, the doctor used some type of grabbing tool to pull the worms out of there. They didn't go willingly. When they fired the worms up under a microscope, they saw that the little bastards had mouths.
Oh, I don't feel well.
They were busy in there eating the lady's eyeball right out of her skull with their little tiny worm mouth.
No. I'm out.
Now, this will sound familiar to some of us. It was familiar to me, mainly because this isn't the first killer flesh-eating worm story we've read aloud on this here radio program. The word is, see if you can follow this, the word is the worms came from flies that feed on the tears of cows and other domestic animals like dogs and cats. I'll say it again. The word is the worms came from flies that feed on the tears of cows and dogs and cats, and then they poop larvae into the eyes of the animals, and that larvae turns into the worms. Once inside an eye socket, the larvae develop into adult worms that reproduce. Oh, do they reproduce? So doctors think the lady's cat had this same worm eye problem, and then she cuddled with the cat, and the larvae ends up in the lady's eye, and away we go.
It's like pink eye.
Yeah, it sounds about that contagious, that's for sure.
Steelers fan Jesus said the eye worms were just enjoying a little popcornia.
Oh, my God. I'd be mad at my cat for a while. I know it's not their fault, but, I don't think we'd be on good terms for a little bit.
It's funny you say that, Smashley. I think it's funny that you say that. Interesting little side note here. The lady refused to allow her cat to be examined to see if the cat was the actual ground zero for her eye worms. She didn't want anybody blaming old Tunces for this because she loves her cat that much.
That's sweet of her.
Once surgeons removed this lady's eye, her problems were over.
No.
She lost her whole eye. I can't see out of my eye anymore, but hey, I love you, puddings.
She's just got some little microscopic chunks taken out of her eye.
Reminds
those
me
little worms.
Of the great performers Siegfried and Roy, where they used to perform with their tiger. Remember the tiger attacked one of them?
Yep.
What could have been the final words from the guys he's mauled by his tiger is, "Don't shoot the cat." Didn't want anything to happen to the tiger.
It's a true story. Yeah, the worms had these little mouths with razor-sharp fangs, and they just all day long just chewing on this gal's eyeball, and she's trying to watch television going, for Christ's sake, I can't see.
It's like a leech.
Oh, I love that stuff. I want that to happen to every last one of you.
I don't like that.
The young people are out there living dangerously, Cubby.
You know, when you're younger, you just kind of do, right? Nothing can harm you. You're going to live forever.
Invincible.
They're out there living dangerously, especially, according to this here next stupid news story, they're living extra dangerously when it comes to folding each other in half. Says here, one of the most dangerous sex acts out there is also one of the most popular with the young people. And I know what some of you are saying. You're saying, it's got to be DVDA. That's what some of you are saying. You're saying, I lost a lot of close friends because of DVDA. No. It's not double vaginal, double anal. That's putting the younger folks in danger. It's not DVDA. But I want to send out my condolences to any of your friends who passed on early because of it. I do.
Question.
Yes.
DVDA.
Yeah.
The ones that are taking the D to the V or the A, are they smaller or are the V and the A quite large? How does that work? Have you seen it?
Oh, yes, I've seen medical documents.
So I'm wondering, for the ones that are giving it to the lady with the V and the A.
I understand what you mean. It's all sizes.
Oh, it is?
All shapes and sizes.
So even someone who might be quite girthy or somebody who is kind of blessed in that regard, a gentleman, he could find another guy that's there for him?
All shapes and sizes.
I Googled DVDA, and one of the top results is the excuse me.
Okay, just take a pause.
Delaware Valley Dance Academy.
Wasn't
sure
there
they
also
love
a South Park where they had a band called DVDA?
Hey, Dana, I'm sure whoever the Delaware Dance Academy is really pleased that we threw their name into this conversation.
Well, I'm sure they've not the first time they heard of
I'm
this.
sure they're pretty pumped by that.
Or was that Orgasmo?
It was Orgasmo.
It was Orgasmo? Okay. I know
What happened in Orgasmo?
They had a band, DVDA.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, it was a reference to that.
I just talked about that. We just talked about Orgasmo. Okay. Here's the sex act, which is called one of the most dangerous. Here's what it is. And there's a lot of concern out there because it is one of the most popular sex acts with the young people. It's choking each other smooth out. The latest research says now that sexual chokeouts, also known as erotic asphyxiation, is getting more and more popular with the teenage kids and the young adults. Experts are concerned for the safety of sexually inexperienced young people.
There's levels to this stuff. I wish they were more specific. Like if they were talking about the people that
They
will
do
use like a belt and stuff.
They do get more specific.
Okay,
They do.
good.
Okay.
You sound like you're about to teach a class.
I'm a little worried.
Hi, I'm your foremost expert.
Today we're going to learn about choking.
Experts are concerned. Here's one of those experts, a gal by the name of Dr. Debbie Herbenick. She's a professor at Indiana University. Hell, once she even upped and wrote a book called Yes, Your Kid. What parents need to know about today's teens and sex. That book sounds scary. I love the title, though. Well, we're not talking about my kid. My kid would never, yes, your kid, she says. Dr. Debbie says there is no zero-risk way of engaging in sexual chokeouts. Deaths from consensual choking are rare, but they do happen. So in case you don't know, sexual choking is a kink that often incorporates the dominant submissive sexual dynamic. You go ahead and use strangulation to enhance the sexual experience by applying external pressure to the neck, enough to hinder healthy breathing and blood flow. Those who enjoy being deprived of air during sex report feeling heightened arousal and more intense orgasms. Love is a mysterious thing, isn't it, Josh?
It is. I don't think I could be certainly the delivering part, much less the one receiving the choking.
You're not the type for a chokeout. No.
I couldn't even, as you know, I couldn't even pull a lady's hair by request.
No, you could not.
Adorable.
Passionate request. And kind of gave it just a little ink. That's about all I could do.
One of my favorite stories about you, red hot lady that Cubby and I both knew. And she took a liking to old Jizosh over there. And they made out, didn't they?
We did.
And she said, pull my hair, you little son of a bitch. Look at you, she said. Pull my hair.
Those words were said.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. I want to be clear real quick. Did she ask you to pull her hair while you guys were just making out?
Yeah. It was a precursor to what I like to call intimacy.
All right. I just want to make sure. I thought it was just making out. That's a little weird.
That would be kind of weird.
I understand now.
It was before.
The two of you got it on?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was just a makeout session.
No.
Well, good for you.
That's where it kind of started. There were some other things that she was into that I just couldn't provide.
Well, I've never heard this part of the story. I've never heard this part of the story.
I can do that. Ask your mom. She wanted.
I always thought it ended after some making out.
No. It went further.
Oh, well, you've never told me about that. Will you please tell me? No.
Oh, I'm
please tell me all the details. You don't have to do it now. We can do it off air.
Sure.
Because I'm very interested in the details because I thought this gal was scorching hot, and I I'll tell you right now, if I would have been in your situation, I would have snatched every hair out of her skull.
Yeah, I know. I couldn't do it. I just couldn't. Bring hurting someone into it. And I know for her that's not what it was, but I couldn't make that disconnect.
I understand completely. It all depends on how you're raised.
Now, I know this is going to be confusing, but I'm going to put some words together you might not have heard. And this was the other request. I want you to F me up against that wall, was something else she said.
Ooh.
And I thought, somebody went through a lot of work to put that wall there. Have you ever tried mudding and taping some drywall? It's impossible unless you know what you're doing. And so I couldn't do that either. Plus, what if we mar the paint?
So what did you just kind of pump away missionary for a few seconds and it was over?
Yeah, something like that.
You bastard. You know how rare it is?
We approached the wall.
Do you know how rare it is to get in that situation?
I know. I've had a couple situations where I completely... I failed.
You can't think too much about it.
I choked like I was a New York Jet.
Oh, pardon me?
I was done. I made a New York Jets reference.
Oh, you didn't fail. You stuck to your morals and principles. That's what you did. I don't want you to think of it as a failure.
Now, this was the one, you have those things in life where you wake up in the middle of the night and it shocks you awake and you have regret. And in college, I had a long-distance relationship. I recommend it. They always work out. They're great. Get in one if you can. Uh-oh. And I went to Moorhead. My girlfriend went to Stout. So, we're far apart. And I had a girl say, hey, come take a bath with me. And I said, well, I can't do that for a couple of reasons. Namely, I have a girlfriend in Wisconsin. I can't do something like that. And she said to me, I don't care. And I thought, okay, well, that puts a different spin on it. I didn't know you wouldn't care. No, I can't do that. And then we both came back to town, my girlfriend and I, and we broke up within a week.
You messed up, Josh. You messed up bad.
That bath could have changed your life, man.
And I heard there was bubbles in there. It would have been a bubble bath.
Hey, but you know what, Josh? Maybe that bath could have ruined your life. You never know.
True.
Everyone knows.
I don't like to bathe.
Everyone could tell all those missed opportunity stories until the cows come home. Let's get back to sexual choke downs. So again, experts are concerned because the young people out there, teenagers and young adults, one of their favorite gimmicks when it comes to folding each other in half are these sexual chokeouts. They're saying, be careful. God help us all. An estimated 250 to 1,000 Americans die annually after attempting to choke themselves during masturbation.
The old hanging whack.
And unsafe sexual choking with a partner can lead to loss of consciousness, serious injury, brain damage, and in rare cases, death. But this is what the young people are into. Says here, very few adults over 50 have ever been strangled sideways during sex. It's the young people. Here we go, parents of teenagers and young adults. Are you listening? Are you listening? Experts are asking you to sit your kids down and talk to them about choking. That's all you need right now, isn't it, Mom and Dad? That's about all you need right now is to sit down your 19-year-old kid and have a conversation during the holiday season about choking. But the experts say it could be very important and could save their life one day.
How do you approach that
conversation?
Donnie, that's a tough one on both ends.
Yeah.
Sit down, little Donnie. How's your senior year of high school going? Not bad so far, Dad. Our hockey team is pretty good. Are you choking gals out when you have sex? Or are they choking you out because that's not good? What? No. I don't have any kids, but I've got plenty of friends who do. And I've heard some great stories about when they have to sit their kids down and have certain conversations about sex. At least my group of friends, they are not excited about it.
They should hire you. Just hire it out. Have you talk to one of the kids. That could be fun.
If they pay well enough, maybe I would. But
I can imagine. All right, first and foremost, if you have any condoms, just throw them out. We're not using those. Get rid of those. That's one thing I think you'd say.
My pals They don't even like sitting down and having a standard conversation about sex with their kids, let alone a conversation about strangling or getting strangled during sex. Here we go. For those who insist on half killing someone while penetrating them, here's some advice from the experts. You were headed in this direction a few minutes ago, Ashley, about the levels. There's levels of sex choking.
Different degrees, yeah.
For those who just have to have this as a part of their sexual menu, experts say, look, take it easy for Christ's sake. Use light pressures. One hand around their neck at a time. Don't use your legs. This isn't the state high school wrestling tournament. Don't use leashes or rope or anything like that. What are you, some kind of a sick maniac? That's what the experts said. Good God, we've got problems around here, huh, Josh?
Who is using two hands? That is scary.
Yeah, that's...
If I ever, was with a guy for the first time and, we knew that both of us were into that and they went to choke me with two hands, I'd be out of there so fast.
Well, it's dangerous. You could crash. You got to have one hand on the wheel. This person said someone there related to died doing the autoerotic asphyxiation. That was solo, apparently.
Yeah.
And Social Work Jesus sent in an interesting text. He said the choking each other out, it's called breathe play. He went to a kink weekend here this past weekend.
Oh, I wasn't invited?
On purpose. And it was at a hotel. He said there were classes on it and other things as well.
Oh, my damn.
So there are classes on it. So what... okay, never mind. I was going to ask you a question, Ashley, that I've changed my mind about asking.
A low level. If that makes you feel better.
You just answered a question that wasn't asked?
Yeah.
Your answer is a low level?
Yep.
Because you're the only one that's said that or alluded to the fact that it might be a part of.
Yeah, every once in a while.
After-work activities.
Not like an everyday situation, but...
Is that something that... I see the faces of a few of you not divulging anything, but hypothetically... Now, that's something that would have to be requested, right? You wouldn't just...
Yep.
Pull that out of your... wherever you keep that.
Well,
yeah,
I mean...
usually.
That's up to you.
I think so, yeah. I've never had I've always been the one to bring it up, never the guy. I think it would be kind of a different vibe if the guy brought it up, to be honest.
I just really, really want to choke you.
Yeah. Right?
I know we just met.
You can't really spin that in a sexy way.
Yep.
It's a touchy situation, Josh. It's a touchy situation. All right. Should I try to squeeze one more in here, or should we get the hell going, Cubby?
I think we could get this going. Quick one.
Which one of you really enjoy it when you get your Bizak scrizzatched?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Get your back.
Only when I got something really itchy going on, but never just in general.
You're probably not going to like this, Nick, because it's cute, but I get back scratches every night from my man. I make him.
I make him.
It's like one of my routines. Like, all right.
Mama needs a back scratching.
Yep. You kind of ripped the adorableness away at the end when you're forcing him to do that.
Yep.
Scratch my back, bitch!
Nah, it's all love.
Getting your back scratched. It feels nice. Maybe you want to see a professional. Says here now, folks are coughing up hundreds of dollars for professional back scratchers. A gal by the handle of Tony George. She's the owner of a joint called the Scratcher Girls in Miami. She charges $130 for an hour of back scratching. She uses what they call here her 3-inch manicured nails on you.
They're kind of scary looking.
Whoa. They do look a little freaky. She rakes them up and down. Not like Hulk Hogan used to do back in the 80s where he just, Russia, and he'd run it right down you. She's much more gentle than that. This gal will scratch you on your back, arms, legs, scalp, and even the insides of your ear holes. No bags, no bee-holes.
Oh, I bet that feels so good.
Customers, she says, often drift off to sleep or, quote, give out sounds of ecstasy. Gross, right, Josh?
Yeah.
Sounds of ecstasy.
I don't like that.
Her services are so popular that she travels to New York, Los Angeles, Philadelphia. She's been up to Fargo. She's been over to Alexandria. Oh, sorry. We're orgasming. She files her nails before each scratching session so she can really get in there.
Yeah,
she says there's nothing sexual about it, Josh.
Right. Maybe not for her.
That's pretty cool.
She says there's nothing sexual about it. Well, maybe not for you.
Sometimes she has, sometimes she has short nails, and it looks like when she does have short nails, she has like these little, kind of like how you used to put bugles on the tip of your finger.
Yeah,
Yeah, like,
yes.
That's pretty cool. I want a pair of those for back scratches.
Rounded, sharp nails. She won't scratch chests or bellies, she said. She had to turn down a request from one feller. He asked her to play with his stupid nipples. She said, no, I don't play with nipples, you donkey. I'll scratch your back for a while. Give me $130.
I've never had anyone go for my nipples. I don't know how I would respond to that. It'd be kind of weird. I mean,
maybe it'll tickle a little. Maybe it would tickle you a little bit.
It could be. Yeah, like I was saying, they'd have to get through the T-shirt. But I've never had anybody.
Right. There are other pro back scratchers out there, by God. It's not just this one gal. Look it up if you're interested. They're all over the place. Like, say, here's a gal who recently quit her 6-figure job to pursue scratching full-time skis.
I can only scratch somebody's back for like a couple of minutes. I get so bored, and I feel bad because I never like return the favor.
I wish I had a 6-figure job. I could just quit. Wouldn't that be something?
Yep.
I wish I had a 6-figure job.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, well, maybe you are the next great back scratcher in the works.
Well, I keep my nails so short.
Oh, I don't.
I'd have to change that up.
I don't. Mine get long and disgusting, so maybe I'd be the guy.
I've been made fun of before because my finger pads are longer than my nails.
And you cut them that short?
Yeah, I think it's probably from playing guitar growing up.
Oh, calloused fingers? You mean you have more meat on the tip of your fingers than you do nails?
Yeah, let me show you.
All right, I've never looked at your...
you keep them like that.
I've never looked at your hands.
You follow me there?
Not really. No, I'm not following you.
See, this goes up higher than that.
It looks like you're
I still
a nail
don't follow
biter.
it. I still don't follow it.
You don't
Your fingernails look normal to me.
Yeah, they're below this, which most people aren't.
Below the tips of your fingers?
Yeah.
Well, mine are also.
Well, then you do keep yours a little shorter.
Oh, okay.
I get made fun of for this.
I just recently did trim them, but sometimes the wife will look at me and say, what are you, going to go out and kill a cat or something? I mean, but anyway, fingers. Josh calls them what sometimes?
Tingers.
No, and I don't like that, but he does.
That's
He calls them tingers.
Sports on the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Someone is trying to break into the house right now. My daughter is there. This is Joe Burrow's house. She is staying there. He's at the football game. She's wondering what she should do, if she should be hiding or if she should be going outside.
Did someone try to break in?
Yes, she said someone was in the house. Someone broke into my house. It's like completely messed up.
Here we go with this song and dance again. Cincinnati Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow's house got busted into while he was playing football Monday night. There was a lady staying there. Well, of course there was.
Sports Illustrated swimsuit model. Life's different for a pro quarterback.
Yeah, it is.
That's the word, isn't it, Josh?
Yeah.
It says there was a gal staying there, and she is a Sports Illustrated swimsuit model by the name of Olivia Pontoon. I'm going with Pontoon.
It's definitely not Pontoon.
According to the cops, Pontoon drove up to the house. She noticed a shattered bedroom window and could see that a bedroom had been ransacked. She called her mama. And her mother was the one who called the police. But this gimmick just keeps going on and on and on. These friggin' guys, they go play a ball game and derelicts kick down the door and steal the jewelry and steal the cash and steal the this and that.
There's some town meetings going on this week here for that same thing happening.
Town meetings.
Mike Conley, Jr., his place broken into.
Yeah.
I think that's what
What kind of a dickhead breaks into the house of Mike Conley Jr.?
And a couple of A couple of former Vikings it's happened to.
Yeah.
Former hockey player.
A former hockey player?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Would I know the former hockey player?
I don't think so.
Oh.
It's like pro hockey player, house broken into, and I was like, oh, I wonder who that is. Well, he played one game.
Oh.
But even so.
Am I the only one that finds it a little strange that she called her mom to have her mom call the cops?
That was a little weird.
Well, she was scared.
Maybe she called her mom because she wanted to know if it was worth because this girl and Joe Burrow have had a history of are they dating? Are they not dating? It's been kind of like a hot gossip item. So maybe she called her mom and asked is it worth calling somebody? Because now we're going to be exposed for actually seeing each other.
I don't know.
I
think you're maybe overthinking it. I think she was just freaked out and called her mom.
I think so too.
She's a young gal. Just call your mom.
I bet she has that relationship where
I think that's
mom helps her out.
Last night the Pigs played in Utah and they tied, and then so you were saying, okay, it's a tie. No, you go to overtime. And they played overtime and nobody scored, and then you thought, well, I can go to bed, right? No! They had to go through with one of those shootouts, and the Pigs won in the shootout. We'll get into it in a half hour here. We got plenty to cover. Until then, don't go anywhere because Josh's wonderful news report's coming up next.
There's a douchiness to them. The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Standard Heating and Air Conditioning wants to wish you a happy holiday season and wants to let you know that Standard Heating is ready if you face a heating emergency. Their expert team is available through the holidays to make sure you stay warm and safe, no matter what. Become a Smart Club member so that you'll have peace of mind knowing that you're covered for the upcoming winter season. For more info or 24/7 emergency heating services, call 612-824-2656. Comfort you deserve since 1930.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever find yourself playing the budgeting game? Well, with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive, you can find options that fit your budget and potentially lower your bills. Try it at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states.
Afford Anything talks about how to avoid common pitfalls, how to refine your mental models, and how to think about how to think.
How would a person buy their time?
There's technology hacks. There's, of course, income hacks. There's outsourcing. If you have the means, now it's time to take the action and outsource. If you don't have the means, you can't afford to buy back your time. This is the whole point. We want you to stop buying silly objects and start saving so you can get to the position to do these things.
Make smarter choices and build a better life.
Afford Anything, wherever you listen.
Half-Assed Morning Show. 93X.
Everything we've heard about this couple is they were really good people, and it's just sad, to see something like this happen.
A 23-year-old man who spent much of his time immersed in video games confessed to shooting his parents after an argument because his dad told him to get a job. The incident unfolded Saturday night when police responded to the family's home. They found a 63-year-old man and his 58-year-old wife suffering from gunshot wounds. Despite her injuries, the mother identified her son, Joseph Voigt, as the shooter before he fled the scene. Authorities tracked Voigt down in Orlando, locating his car and taking him into custody. During questioning, he admitted to the crime, explaining his father had been pressuring him to stop gaming and make something of himself by finding a job. A conversation Voigt took exception to, saying he was tired of his dad, quote, riding his ass. Records reveal this wasn't Voigt's first run-in with the law. He'd been released from jail just days earlier on December 1st after an arrest for battery. Court records also show he was arrested last year for firing a gun into the ground 15 times in a residential neighborhood. He told officers at the time he did it because he was just bored.
This is a real stable kid here.
Yeah, who could have seen this coming?
He also had a run-in with cops a week before the shooting of his parents. He maced two people who asked why he was in their neighborhood.
That's pretty sick, dude.
Yeah. His dad had the audacity to ask him to make something of himself.
Unbelievable.
A furious customer took his frustration to the extreme Monday, driving his recently purchased used car right through the front doors of a Utah dealership because he wanted a refund. The 28-year-old disgruntled driver, fuming over what he saw as a raw deal, plowed into a Mazda dealership in Sandy, Utah. Within seconds, shattered glass cascaded like confetti, and a once sturdy countertop collapsed in ruins. Moments later, the man jumped out of the car, visibly seething, and shouted, "I told you, mother effers!" before leaving the wreckage, fixing for a fight.
I wasn't, huh? I told you, mother.
Whoa! Call the cops!
The dispute was over mechanical issues he discovered after leaving the lot. When he called to demand his money back, the dealership reminded him the car was sold as is. According to police, it wasn't a spur-of-the-moment meltdown. The man had earlier made his intentions clear. If the dealership didn't refund the car that he'd purchased that very morning, he'd crash through their front door, which he obviously did.
The person did it on purpose, out of rage. It's beyond me. It's beyond me. It makes me feel furious.
Fortunately, no one was hurt, but it's safe to say he definitely won't be getting that refund.
That video rules. It's something straight out of Terminator.
It's up on 93x.com. I know that this is awful and he could have hurt people, but I kind of dig this guy's vibe a little bit.
You dig this guy.
I like that he came out swearing. I like that he followed through on his promise.
Christ's sake, get a grip, will you?
He had so much. The fact that he threatened it and then still later that day went through with it, he had so much time to reconsider and calm down.
I'm hoping he also brought the car to a mechanic just to make sure it was working enough to crash through.
He got a tune-up just to crash it through the wall.
A dramatic carjacking incident in Fort Myers, Florida, involving a 16-year-old came to a head on an airport runway Friday. The ordeal began when the teen reportedly approached a woman demanding her keys. According to the Lee County Sheriff's Office, deputies quickly teamed up with the Florida Highway Patrol to track the stolen vehicle. Dashcam footage captured the high-speed chase as the stolen car tore down the road, crashing into several other vehicles along the way. The pursuit continued until the suspect drove onto the grounds of Southwest Florida International Airport. Abandoning the car, the teen tried to escape on foot, but was swiftly apprehended on airport property. He now faces multiple charges. I forget, did I send this one to you, Ashley?
Yes, that's up on 93x.com.
Okay. Was there some kind of dance party going on? I kept hearing someone shout about getting their hands up in the air.
Yeah, no, that's what the cops do. So it indicates the person they're pursuing doesn't have a weapon. Or at least they can't.
I thought there was a DJ on scene or something.
No,
you know what I mean?
I hear it saying, get on the ground, put your hands up. It does sound like something like that. But no, this was an arrest of a young man who's troubled. A Colorado couple captured a harrowing encounter on video when a woman pulled a gun on them in a crowded parking lot one night last week about 7 p.m. because they honked at her. The couple were preparing to leave a grocery store parking lot when they found themselves stuck behind a car that wouldn't move. Frustrated, they honked to signal the driver. Moments later, the woman got out of the other vehicle, marched toward them, and began shouting profanities. Sensing things were about to get worse, the couple started recording, only to see the woman suddenly pull a gun equipped with a laser sight.
I wanted to just get out of there, honestly. It was pretty scary, yeah. And there was a lot of families walking out of the store behind us, and she was flashing the beam through her car.
I looked down at my shirt and saw the laser dot the passenger recalled. That's when I realized we needed to get out of there immediately. I was terrified. According to the couple, the situation escalated out of nowhere. We didn't exchange any words before it happened, the driver explained. Maybe I should have been more patient and just waited, but nothing could have prepared us for something like this. The unsettling experience made them rethink their actions, saying we'll definitely be more cautious about honking in the future.
Yeah, you know how it is, Josh. There are plenty of people out there who are just waiting for a reason.
That's true.
That's every day they wake up, they're hoping someone gives them a reason.
I do got to say, if I had a gun with a laser sight on it, I'd probably want to use it.
Yeah, that's really sweet.
A buddy of mine had a Nerf gun with a laser sight on it once when we were kids, and I thought that was just the coolest thing I'd ever seen.
Oh, my gosh, was he rich?
I didn't even know they made such a thing, or did he modify it?
No, it came like that.
Wow.
It was cool.
Wisconsin officials are grappling with a wave of false bomb threats, including one that targeted Chippewa Falls High School earlier this week. The alarming call came just before 1 p.m., forcing the school to evacuate students and staff while authorities investigated. Thankfully, no credible threat was found, and everyone was safe. Chippewa Falls police reported Monday saw multiple unfounded threats across schools statewide. The incidents, labeled as swatting, involving fake emergencies designed to provoke panic and mobilize law enforcement. The Chippewa Falls Area Unified School District assured families there was no real danger during the incident. Statewide investigations are now underway to trace the origin of those malicious calls.
They're going to trace the origin, Cubby.
It's going to lead back to dorks 100% of the time.
Yeah.
Aerosol products, pesticides, hoverboards, and lithium batteries are items the TSA won't let you bring on a plane. Also on that list, friggin' grenades.
What?
Thankfully, most of us are aware of that, but there's still those out there who aren't, and it's a bit uncomfortable knowing they're walking among us. For example, the TSA once again is reminding travelers to leave the explosives at home after a man brought a grenade in his carry-on at LaGuardia Airport this week. The incident happened Monday as the passenger went through security at the New York City airport. TSA officers discovered the grenade, which was real, but like an old man's penis, inert. According to the traveler, it was a gift from a museum. Since the grenade posed no immediate danger, Port Authority police let the man go without charging him. However, the TSA confiscated the grenade, and they said they'll use it for training purposes.
Oh, there you go. Now they got a grenade. Good for them.
Win-win.
Sergeant Alexander Sinclair, a 35-year-old Cleveland police sergeant who faced punishment in July for using a city-issued vehicle to hump another cop at a police headquarters.
Hump?
Yes.
Okay.
It's the technical term for sexual intercourse. He's back in the spotlight, and again, not for a good reason. This time for a domestic-related shooting incident outside Riverview Elementary School in Lake County, Ohio.
This guy's dramatic.
He is. The victim, he's passionate.
There is a lot of...
Yeah, that's what it is.
There is some passion.
He's a competitor.
Yes.
Which excuses all behavior. The victim, who shares a child with Sinclair, claims the sergeant followed her to the school during morning drop-off after an earlier argument. According to reports, Sinclair's vehicle crashed into hers before he approached and fired a shot through the windshield. The school's resource officer quickly intervened and took Sinclair into custody as the school was placed on lockdown. His first brush with controversy occurred just months ago when he served 6 days in suspension for engaging in sexual conduct with a fellow officer while on duty.
That was the humping you were referring to?
The humping,
okay.
Yes. The other officer, a detective with prior disciplinary issues of her own, received an 8-day suspension for her role in the incident. Sinclair's case is expected to go before a grand jury in the coming weeks. You're worth an 8-day suspension just for one night with you in a squad car, Nick?
That's so sweet of you to say to him.
I feel the same way about you and your little body. You know who else agrees with you, Josh, that being competitive excuses all behavior? Michael Jordan and Michael Jordan fans.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. He's who comes to mind.
Hey, guy's been an a-hole his whole life. Well, what he is, he's a competitor.
He punched his teammate in the face. Yeah, in the name of competition.
And you know what? If it was a competition, he would have been the best at it.
Yeah, he was the best at punching his own teammates.
Whooping cough is making a troubling comeback in Minnesota, reaching its highest case numbers in over a decade. As of December 5th, more than 2,300 cases have been reported statewide, the largest outbreak since 2012. Hennepin County has been hit especially hard, with most cases occurring among kids and teens ages 5 to 17.
Oh!
Doctors at Hennepin Healthcare's Richfield Clinic says the surge stems from a combination of factors, including post-Thanksgiving gatherings and a decline in vaccinations during the pandemic. The clinic urges vigilance as whooping cough can linger and spread for weeks.
There is a treatment. Perhaps even more importantly, we know that it can be prevented, meaning we can give medicine to family members of an exposed or infected individual to help prevent the spread.
Anyone with a persistent cough or fever lasting more than 2 or 3 days is being urged to check in with their doctor.
You ever had to tangle with that, Josh? You're the guy that gets sick all the time now, it seems.
Yes, the last couple of years, for sure.
You ever had a little dance-off with the whooping cough?
No, I don't even think I know anyone who's had it.
No, I've heard it said out loud before, but I don't know. I've never had the pleasure.
My nieces and nephews have had whooping. It's terrible.
Is it like just like that?
Yeah.
The sound I played?
Yeah, it's very, the cough is different from other coughs. You can tell right away, like, uh-oh, here we go.
That's a whooping.
Yep.
A 30-year-old Oklahoma man found himself the butt of online jokes when his secret stash decided to make a surprise appearance during a strip search. Early Sunday morning, November 30th, a detention officer reported 2 pills wrapped in plastic fell out of his, quote, rectum. The man who
fell out.
Yeah, it just kind of popped right out.
Fell out.
Yeah, I'm assuming when they make you squat.
Yep.
Oh.
That's the whole deal, right?
I still think that I don't think even when I'm squatting, I don't think anything's going to fall out. I don't know. I guess I don't have any experience in the field. I'll let you go ahead anyway.
Well, I have a weak pelvic floor, so I bet it would fall
You think?
out. Yeah, I don't think I could.
I think I could hold damn near anything in there.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I could.
Yeah.
I'm willing to try. The man who keistered the contraband is now facing charges for possessing banned items in a penal institution and trafficking fentanyl.
What fell out of his can again?
Couple of pills.
Couple of pills?
Yeah, wrapped in a baggie.
I don't know. I think I'm good for that.
In true...
I think I'm built right for that.
Are you really? You're the guy?
Yeah.
You would represent our team?
If you want me to smuggle pills, I bet I can hold them in place even during a squat off.
That's the thing they should teach you in DARE education, that a lot of drugs are smuggled in butts. I think about that sometimes. Like, if I'm ever tempted, I don't know, it's probably in somebody's butt.
Yeah, for a good...
Nobody wants...
for a good 4 or 5 days.
Yeah, butt drugs?
Yeah.
No thanks. In true Florida man fashion, 23-year-old Anthony Mata bypassed the shadowy corners of the dark web and went straight to Craigslist with this bold post. New to the area, looking for ice or crack. Not exactly subtle, Anthony. Not subtle at all. Predictably, his grand plan backfired spectacularly. The only reply he got was from an undercover investigator who was more than willing to play along. Disguised as a dealer, the investigator set up a meeting with Anthony, who, perhaps under the influence of the very substance he was seeking, thought this was a perfectly legitimate arrangement. The deal was $80 for an 8-ball of meth. The result, a swift takedown by deputies who swooped in as soon as the exchange occurred, arresting Anthony and an accomplice on the spot.
He was on Facebook asking for those things?
Craigslist. Craigslist.
Oh, what a great song. Yeah. Great song by Weird Al Yankovic.
There may not have been any real magic at play, but some sleight of hand from shipping employees made thousands of dollars in high-value merchandise, including coveted Magic the Gathering cards, vanish into thin air. Jarek Smith, a 29-year-old entrepreneur and owner of Holiday Fun and Games in Idaho, found himself at the heart of a $25,000 theft scandal after 3 UPS employees allegedly orchestrated a scheme to steal shipments headed to a store. Among the stolen items were some of the rarest and most sought-after cards in the Magic the Gathering universe. The trouble began October last year when Smith noticed a troubling pattern. Multiple packages containing valuable inventory never arrived. After several frustrating incidents, a loyal customer who happened to work at UPS took it upon themselves to investigate and uncovered the scheme. According to court documents, UPS employees Jerry Hodges, John Forsyth, and ironically, a man named Mitchell Wilwand abused their positions to intercept and steal packages by flagging shipments as damaged before taking them home for themselves. Although some of the stolen goods have been recovered, much of the merchandise, including the pricey Magic the Gathering cards, have likely disappeared for good.
You know how a few minutes ago, Josh, we were talking about my ass?
Yeah, and what it's capable of?
And I believe if you're looking to smuggle drugs, I think I've got the ass for the job. Squatting, whatever. I think those drugs are going to stay put. And a couple listeners texted in, and you might be built for it too, Josh. A couple listeners texted in and said, part of what would help me and might even help you, Josh, is those pills, they're not going to get past the hemorrhoids.
Good call. Yeah, if you can get past the hemorrhoids on the way in, yeah, that's true. It'd be tough to get out.
They're not going to get past the hemorrhoids.
Yeah. It'd be like one of those marble puzzles, those wooden boxes where you try and get the marble through.
Oh, my gosh, I love those.
That'd be very difficult. How do I move on to a charity event after?
We play a quick song. Happy holidays.
Registration's now open for the 2-day Drop Shot Pickleball event happening January 11th and 12th in Shakopee, benefiting the Randy Shaver Cancer Research and Community Fund. Last year, the event raised over $15,000 to support Minnesota's cancer community, and they're aiming to do even more this year. Last year's event also featured a topless Randy Shaver. He changed right out there in front of everybody for our benefit.
Man.
It's hot stuff.
It was maybe that added to the dollar total.
Should we sign up and beat all these punks?
I went last year. It was fun. It was a fun event.
You played?
No, we didn't end up playing. We were going to play, but then we got booted because more people signed up last minute. But it was fun just to kind of hang out. My kids played. They did pretty good.
Should we sign up and beat everybody?
I wouldn't mind.
I would.
There's all skill levels are welcome. Men's, women's, and doubles divisions. I mean, they go from newcomers to those with a high, what I've been told is called duper score. $120 per team for an entry fee, prizes for the winners. And, of course, it's all for charity, benefiting the Randy Shaver Cancer Research and Community Fund. Special thanks to their champion sponsors, Culver's, Rock Elm, and Dalen Sign Company, along with their ace sponsors, South Metro Federal Credit Union, Shields, and Office Centers. You can sign up for the second annual Drop Shot Cancer Pickleball Tournament, Saturday, July 11th, January 11th, Sunday the 12th at randyshavercancerfund.org. Nikki Sixx from Motley Crue is 66 today.
Well, I suppose that's probably special for him.
Yeah, I would think so.
He's Nikki Sixx.
6'6".
He's 66.
Oh, yeah, I bet whatever they write on his cake is going to be pretty cool.
Yeah. You know what his real name is, Ashley?
Huh.
Frank.
I like that name.
Oh.
Frank Ferrano. Yeah. Sounds like something from Goodfellas.
Yeah, that does sound like a cool name.
It's actually
you
a really
always have the last name, though.
Let me look this up because it's actually somewhat interesting. Go ahead, Josh. I'll catch up.
Thanks to Ranger Gear Grinder Jesus. He's streaming the show in Worthington for his last day of training. We appreciate that. Happy birthday to our buddy, Old Man Bob Jesus. And I was going to say that's 93X News. You got the info?
Yeah, we've played around back and forth on this radio show many times about silly rock star names. Some of them really work, and some of them are just so bad. Nikki Sixx is cool. That is a cool rock star name. It was perfect for its time. It was perfect for the band that Motley Crue was originally, which was kind of a raw, outlandish punk rock band. So I give him a ton of credit for coming up with Nikki Sixx. That is cool. His real name, I kind of made fun of it, but his real name is pretty cool too. But it wasn't right for Motley Crue. Frank Carlton Serafino Ferrana Jr.
That's a lot.
I like that name, but you're right.
Yeah, it wasn't right.
And you can also tell why he didn't go into sports. I mean, try putting that on the back of a jersey.
Yep.
Good luck with that. And that's 93X News.
Sports on the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
You have to like when there's a guy coming right in your face and he just sits in there and delivers it.
Needed 2 thrusts to get it in. Bynes has been coming all night long, but then he pulls out, and it's just hard. It's been a while since he's seen a hole that big.
Just filthy stuff.
Wow. They put it on TV and kids are watching.
Watch your mouth, Troy.
Absolutely filthy. Randy Shaver, nope. Brad Ryder, nope. By listener request, we've given both Randy and Brad the day off.
You know, enough people complain about those two. We're going to follow through, and we're going to take them right off the air.
And it's not even just the listeners. The FCC has complained a lot, too, about those two gentlemen.
The government's involved?
Mm-hmm.
They'll be back tomorrow or the next day, not sure. Randy Shaver and Brad Ryder, both of them with the day off. Did we get word that Brad Ryder might be on an ice fishing? The word I'm looking for is expedition.
Is that next week or this week?
Oh.
I guess I don't remember. I know he said he was going to, one of the days when he calls in, he's going to be out there on the lake.
Okay, that's really interesting. Maybe it's this week, maybe it's next week. The reason I bring it up is I don't really picture Brad as an ice fisherman. I've never heard him talk about it before. So now I'm interested in asking him about it. Josh, you've known the guy for a long time. You've known him longer than any of the rest of us. Does he strike you as the type who will sit out in a fishing shack and fart and eat beef jerky and drink cheap beer for 4 or 5 days?
Not at all.
No.
Me and him have talked about it before.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like where he asks you, what is ice fishing?
Wait, so it's during with the ice on the lake?
Yeah, it came up when it was back when he used to come into the studio. Because I must have been talking about how I was excited to go ice fishing, and he was like, "Oh no way, you ice fish? So do I." And I was actually very surprised as well.
Okay, I mean, I know he's
on a farm. And,
he's a farm guy. Grew up on a farm, middle of nowheres. And I know he has a cabin on a lake somewhere around here. I just don't picture him sitting out there. But then again, nowadays, you know what I'm picturing? I'm picturing the old days of ice fishing. I'm picturing a shoddy house that you and your drunk friends put together. I'm picturing sitting on a bucket out in the elements. Nowadays, they got these fancy schmancy friggin' shacks you can sit in. By God, it's nicer than my damn house.
He's sitting in an ice castle for sure.
Yeah, I bet it's one of those really where the like the beds are motorized and
beautiful.
You've got satellite.
Oh, those are so nice. You're not even jigging either. You don't even have to have a pole in your hand. You just got those rattle reels. Don't have to touch anything.
It's just beautiful now how you can go about an ice fishing trip. So we'll ask Brad about it before the week's out. We don't know if he's taking his trip this week or next week. We'll find out.
Yeah, you're right. It's not like back when we'd just be sitting on buckets and like basically a tarp.
Dude, I mean, yeah, those were beautiful days. Don't get me wrong, but what you can, the advantages you have now, if you have the money, of course, to buy one of these beautiful setups, which doubles as a
resort
camper, your resort doubles as a camper in the summer. One of my best bros, Curtis, owns one of these fancy schmancies.
I'm glad the days of the bucket sitting are behind us because my fiance's dad is a big ice fishing guy, and he's got one of those palaces. And I didn't know those things existed because that's ice fishing. That's completely out of my wheelhouse. I would never even consider doing it in my entire life. But
really,
he's insisting on me going. And I was telling my first started dating my fiance had all these reservations. Like, I don't know. I don't do well without Wi-Fi. I'm going to get cold. And she's like, you're basically sitting in like a luxury camper on the ice.
But you know what? Fine. Despite knowing that, stick to your guns and don't go ice fishing with them.
I do think it's funny.
And don't give them a reason.
I hope you don't mind me outing you, but Dana just said, hey, don't bring this up on the air, but how do you catch ice? What kind of bait do you use? See, you're not actually fishing for ice. You're fishing for fish. You're just sitting on some ice. Baudette Fishing Guy Jesus said ice fishing is in full swing up here. FML.
That is actually, it's really good news for people that are into ice fishing because last winter was awful. I know a lot of people
didn't exist.
A lot of people didn't get to go out once. I was one of them, and so this year it's supposed to be nice.
See, actually, that's how I got out of going ice fishing last year, was because there's never any ice to fish on. So now this year it looks like I'm not going to be as lucky.
I'm sorry, Josh. Who was it that texted in that mentioned ice fishing is in full swing now and F their lives?
Baudette Fishing Guide.
So he's working his nuts off.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and up there it gets rough up there by damn. So my bro Curtis has one of these beautiful ice castles, whatever you call it. And he takes it out fishing, of course, in the winter, but also in the summer. We've slept in it many times when we've gone up to Brainerd for the drag races. And I just got to tell you a little story. Hotter than hell one summer up there at BIR for the NHRA drag races, and we were so thankful to have Curtis's friggin' castle, whatever you call it, because it has air conditioning and comfortable beds. And one day it was just so hot. We went and watched the qualifying rounds, and I can't sit in this heat. And Curtis said, well, just go sit in the ice castle for a while. And so I did. And I was just thinking how much I appreciate him as a friend, And then he walks into the shack, and we hadn't had breakfast yet. And he said, he's got everything, a stove, a TV, a DVD player, a bathroom right in, how these things are built. And he says, we didn't eat this morning. Can I make you an omelet? And I mean, like a tear started rolling down my. I said, well, absolutely, Curtis, you can make me. That's the kindest thing. Yes, thank you very much. I would love an omelet. And there's Curtis over there stirring up on a pan, and the eggs are crackling, and he goes, all right, let's have breakfast. And he spins around with a plate, and he hands me the omelet, and he put broccoli in it.
What?
And it ruined everything.
Why would he do that?
I don't know.
I wouldn't request it, but I don't mind broccoli in an omelet.
He ruined everything. He ruined all of the wonderful thoughts I was having about him.
Was there cheese in there?
Yeah, probably, but who cares?
Yeah, he could have just done cheese then.
I like broccoli, but what are you doing putting it in eggs? What's the matter with you? He ruined the weekend for everybody.
The whole weekend was
Sounds like
They
it,
canceled the races.
I never even thought about using one of those in the summer. That's genius.
Oh,
That's my life goal.
The
is to
shack?
just get some land and do that.
I wish I knew the proper term. I don't know what to call them. I always just call them shacks or castles. I don't know what that is.
Ice castle.
That's what I've always heard.
Yeah, but is that a brand
That's a brand.
name?
That's a brand.
Yep.
That's why I don't want to call it an ice castle, because it's a brand. I don't know. Whatever.
Everybody calls it that. You'll be good.
Folks know what I'm talking about. All right, so no Brad, no Randy. Why don't we begin our conversation this morning, or I guess I should say continue our conversation this morning, with a little, Josh, some history. Are you a history buff, Josh? Do you watch the History Channel? Do you watch the this and that?
I do at times. I like that show. I believe it's called Drunk History. Have you ever watched that?
Oh, that's
so
good.
good.
Never saw it.
You might like it. Sometimes it's absolutely excellent what they're able to do. Do you get the gist?
I've heard about it. Explain it to me again.
So there's usually some sort of history expert, right? Maybe a professor or something like that, and the host gets them wasted. And they start telling the story of whatever historical topic
The
is.
Civil War, maybe.
Yeah, and then they'll have some usually kind of well-known actors, comedic actors, act out the scenes. And then what they do is they, what's that called? Voice? Why can't I think of the name? Lip sync. They lip sync what the drunk person is saying. So even sometimes, like, the drunk person might hiccup in the middle of it or whatever.
Oh.
So somebody's standing there with the bayonet talking to a general, and he hiccups. And sometimes the acting and facial expressions are absolutely dynamite.
Now that you explain it, I've seen just very brief, 2-3 minutes at a time when flipping through, and it does look very funny, especially that mimicking, that lip syncing, whatever you want to call. Listeners have filled me in on the generic term for wheelhouse. That's what I'm going to go with. If we continue in the future on a conversation about ice fishing, I'll refer to those effing things as a wheelhouse. Okay, sports history here, Josh. On this date in 1985, what a nightmare this was for me at the time.
Oh, really? I loved it.
I hated it.
I did too.
Did you? What, Dana? You hated it?
What?
No, I loved it.
Do you even know what we're talking about?
I'm guessing the Super Bowl Shuffle.
Well, how old were you in 1985?
Well, I mean, once I found out about it later on.
Okay.
Watching SportsCenter, I loved it.
Okay. When it came out in 1985, I friggin' hated it. It made me want to puke because I hated the Chicago Bull. What do they call the team? Bears. But now, as I got older, I have an appreciation for the legendary Super Bowl Shuffle.
I thought it was awesome. But I was 10.
I have no idea what it even is.
Okay. It was the first of its kind, really, that I can think of, where a team made a music video hyping up their season, where the Bears were going to win the game. And it was rap, all of these. They touched on, they were pioneers in many different ways, and maybe that's a dramatic word, but rap was new to mainstream. And I can't think of any team that had ever, prior to this, made their own music video. So you combine those two. Not only is it a music video from a ball club, but it's a rap video. And it just, you couldn't cross the room without hearing the Super Bowl Shuffle in 1985.
Well, later on, when I learned about it, I thought it was the coolest thing ever. And because I knew the Bears won the Super Bowl in 85, I'm like, oh, so they must have done that after they won the Super Bowl. It's kind of like a tribute. No, they did it before the Super Bowl. They did it in the season leading up to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, so they released it before they even made or won the Super Bowl. I just thought that was such a cocky, cool move. Like, we're so confident we're going to win the Super Bowl, we're going to put out a song called the Super Bowl Shuffle now.
That year was the first year I learned I looked stupid in sunglasses, because I wanted sunglasses like Jim McMahon wore.
I hated Jim McMahon.
God, I thought he was so cool.
I wanted to choke him unconscious every time he was on television.
Now, what do you think now? Do you think,
Of course, my opinion is different now. Of course.
And the fridge?
Hated him.
What?
I did. I hated everything about the Chicago Bears. I was a Minnesota kid. Every Chicago team disgusted me. I'm different now, Josh. Of course, William the Refrigerator Perry
Hilarious.
seems like a fun guy. Jim McMahon, I guess I don't know too much about Jim McMahon, but I grew to let all of this go. I'm morphing myself back into my 14-year-old personality. The only member of the Chicago Bears that did not make me want to puke was Walter Payton. Because who in their right mind, even a 14-year-old, who could hate Walter Payton?
I don't think anybody could.
But Mike Ditka, I could have If in 1985, if Tommy Kramer, then quarterback of the Minnesota Vikings, would have asked me to kill Mike Ditka, I would have done it.
Did you like the Da Bears bit? I mean, that was
No,
several years
no,
later
no.
on Saturday Night Live.
I still. So what was that? Like late 80s? That was only a few
That was
years
like
later.
91.
Yeah, that was only a handful of years later. No, I did not find Da Bears Bulls. I did not find that funny at all. I still was dead set in my hatred. I still don't like Chicago teams, but I'm not like that feverish about it, whatever the word might mean. No, I did not like the Da Bears bit. I'm sorry, Josh.
Well, it's okay. That's what makes the world so fun, right? Different interests, and we can live vicariously through some. You've got some unique interests, Dana. I mean, not unique in the way that you share it with a lot of 5, 6, 7-year-old boys, but different for someone your
unique
age.
for my age.
And
yeah,
I find it quite charming.
Well, thank you.
Here's UPS Golden Valley Delivery. I'll get there. UPS Golden Valley. Here's a listener.
UPS Golden Valley Delivery, Jesus.
He texted in. He's old enough to remember the Super Bowl Shuffle, and if you also are in that age range, he says, Gary Fensick was awesome in that video. I remember Gary Fensick. Yes, I hated him at the time. He was the strong safety for the Bears back then, and I think what UPS Golden Valley Delivery Jesus is referencing is just how little rhythm Gary Fensick had in the video. He really struggled with it. A lot of them did. They were athletes. They weren't entertainers necessarily. Okay, I had another thought on Mike Ditka. Here's when I started to appreciate Mike Ditka, because I hated him in the 80s. Maybe this was into the mid-90s at this point, early 90s. Okay, he was still coaching the Bears at the time. And Josh, in the Super Bowl Shuffle video, maybe you remember, their punter at the time, their kicker, Kevin Butler. Do you remember the name?
I don't.
Their kicker, Kevin Butler, he was on that Super Bowl club. A few years after they won the Super Bowl, so this might be early 90s, the Bears lost a ball game because Kevin Butler missed some field goals. And as you might imagine, Mike Ditka, being the tough guy that he is, and he played tight end, and he's a big tough guy. And a lot of guys like Mike Ditka, they weren't too fond of kickers. Still to this day, you guys know that I'm a big advocate for kickers and special team members. They've never gotten the respect they deserve. So anyway, back in the early 90s, the Bears lose a game because Kevin Butler missed a couple, 3 big field goals. And after the game, someone from the media said to Mike Ditka, if I remember this correctly, what did you think of your kicker's performance today? And he said, gutless.
Oh, I remember that. Okay, I didn't remember. At least I remember Ditka's quote.
How much has changed? Nowadays, a coach would put some kind of a spin and say it's a team game. If we would have scored some touchdowns, then it wouldn't have been our kicker's responsibility to win us the game. But instead, Mike Ditka, being who he was and being the era that it was, what do you think of your kicker today? Gutless, he says.
That's cool. It kind of seems a little Mike Zimmer-ish. I mean, he was kind of well known.
Yeah,
for
he was a throwback in that mindset. Okay, also
was it Daniel Carlson? He cut after like one game, and then Daniel Carlson went on to be just a superstar.
Oh, right, yep. Right. Also, on this date in sports history, in the year 2000. Shortstop Alex Rodriguez signed the richest contract in sports history at the time. It was a 10-year deal with the Texas Rangers worth $252 million. Now, these days, as you know, Alex Rodriguez lives right here in town, where he's scheming to steal the Timberwolves and move them out of Minnesota.
It's crazy how big of a deal that was at the time, and now that's about the price you pay for like a middle reliever in baseball.
Yeah, we were saying yesterday, the numbers are staggering.
How about a random NBA fact now? And then we'll move on to other things. A 7-foot-tall man in the United States has a 1 in 7 shot of making it to the NBA. A man under 6 feet has a 1 in 1.2 million shot to make it to the... But isn't that something? If you're a 7-footer You got a 1 in 7 shot.
It is crazy. So this was from the New York Times a few years ago, and they said they compared it to just a reference point, right? So like the shorter than 6 feet, 1 in 1.2 million. So they say you versus the population of Dallas. That's who you're competing against, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then it was pretty funny. For 7 feet or taller, they wrote you versus a modest dinner party.
That's a good line.
But, back 50 years ago, if you were 7 feet tall, an NBA team would basically sign you on the spot, and they'd worry later about if you could actually play basketball. Now, 7-footers in the NBA are expected to possess some skills that were never considered 50 years ago. If you were just a big, tall guy who could soak up 6 fouls in a ball game, the NBA would give you a shot. Now you do. Look at guys like Karl Anthony Towns and who's another great example of a big guy who can shoot threes and move with the not Rudy Gobert, obviously. Someone help me out. I'm having a brain fart here.
It is funny how sometimes we've mentioned this with Gobert too, where you're like, wow, that's a professional athlete.
God.
Other times obviously it's much different.
Yeah,
but there are times.
I'm having a brain block here. There's plenty of big guys now who can just. Well, I got it. The perfect example. Wembayami.
Yep.
No, yeah.
He's 7'3", and he can dribble.
Wembayami?
He can shoot. He's quick. 50 years ago, you could just be a slug at 7 feet. They'd give you a job. Go out there, put your hands in the air, like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, for Christ's sake. It took one of those silly high school shootouts, but the Pigs got the win in Salt Lake City, Utah. It'll go down in the record books as Pigs 5. Hockey Club 4. Matt Boldy scored the only goal in the shootout to give the boys the win. And they damn near didn't make it to overtime. The Pigs' Mark Rossi scored with 43-some-odd seconds left in regulation to force the free hockey. Along the way, the Russian kid scored his 18th goal of the season. They've won 6 of their last 7. That's 12 road wins on the season for the Piggies. You got to steal a few on the road, don't you know, Josh?
That's the way to win.
And they've done much more than that. The fellas come home now, 5 straight games, starting with a game against Ed Mental tomorrow night. Now here's this cool little Pigs and Arthur's Jewelers setup that we got going for you. Right now on the Luther Bloomington Kia text line. Text Sunshine to 651-989-9393 for a chance to win tickets to see the Wild and the Florida Panthers next Wednesday at the X. And if you win, you're qualified for a 1.5-carat diamond from Arthur's Jewelers. So it's kind of like hockey tickets for him and the diamond for her.
That's a big rock.
It is a big rock.
I was trying to think. I don't think the one I got my wife is even a carat.
You'll be qualified.
She's not worth more than that. To be very
clear.
No.
We could all tell that the minute we met her.
Yeah, so it's not like I could easily afford a more expensive one and chose not to. Mm-hmm. It's just I couldn't even afford one like that, but she doesn't deserve it anyway.
No. Again, the word is sunshine, 651-989-9393. You'll qualify for a 1.5-carat diamond from Arthur's. Arthur's Jewelers with 10,000 outstanding gifts. Arthur's is your one-and-done store for holiday gifts. Thank you, Arthur's and the Wild, for this prize. For tickets, otherwise, you can check out wild.com/hockey tickets. So there you go, a little his and hers, Pigs and Arthur's combo here for you for the holiday season.
Does your wife wear her ring?
Yes.
Because you lost yours like instantaneously?
I lost mine almost immediately, but it didn't.
Was it quicker than your first marriage? Because you lost your first one, was it in a softball glove?
It was about the same amount of time, but there's a difference here. You're correct. The first time I got married, I got a real ring. I don't think it was worth much money, but I got a real ring. And Josh is telling the truth. Maybe, I don't know. It had to have been a handful of months later. I was trying on softball gloves at the stinking sports shop, and I came home, and my ring was gone. Well, obviously, I lost it pulling mitts on and off my hand for 15 minutes over there at the sports shop. This time around, I think it's safe to say now that I've thought about it, Josh, this time around I lost my wedding ring much faster than the first time. But it wasn't a real ring. We got one of those rubber gimmicks.
Oh, yeah, everybody uses those now.
Especially like people in the trades, right?
Yep.
So they don't rip a finger off.
Yeah, you can get a 10-pack on Amazon for like $20.
Right.
That's good for Utah relationship.
Silicone rings. That's what they are.
For my situation, me and the wife decided that'd be the best route for me because she knew that I would lose it instantly. So I don't know, it was worth $30 or something. And we haven't done anything about it. Which is why I'm still getting so much attention from the ladies when I'm out and about, Josh.
Don't you get more attention with a ring?
That's a gimmick. That's a myth.
That is?
Yeah,
I could tell you this.
That's what married guys tell you to try to make themselves feel better about their situation.
I've heard it from women, not men.
It's a friggin' myth.
Now, Ashley, I can't. This could just be a coincidence, but I never get hit on. All right, what am I? It has nothing to do with the ring. But never.
No?
Never, ever. So the ring doesn't help.
That surprises me. You never get hit on randomly?
Never.
Ashley, women tell you that to make their husband seem more attractive. That's all nonsense. Okay. You guys know I don't really give two pumps about the NFL anymore. It's their fault. It's not mine. But I do enjoy NFL memes.
Oh, I love them, absolutely.
I bump into NFL memes on the godless internet, and man, some of them are fun. Let me roll through a few of these NFL memes, see what you think. We talked about this before, but here's a fresh way to put it. The Jets have been eliminated from playoff contention, but at least you can tune into Netflix next week and watch their quarterback do drugs in a cabin while he skips practice.
Oh.
No interest in
that. Forgot about that.
No, if you are in your right mind, even halfway in your right mind, you do not watch that Netflix special starring Karen Rodgers.
I was talking to some friends about that, about how stupid it is and how none of us plan on watching it, and I said, who is the target audience for this? Who do they think is going to want to watch this? And my buddy made a good point. He said, Aaron Rodgers is the target audience for that. He just wants it for his own ego.
And it's even called Enigma.
I know.
Oh, my gosh. Honestly, I kind of want to watch it a little bit just to see how bad it is.
Don't do it. I get the temptation to hate watch things sometimes, Ashley, but I don't think this is worth your mental health.
Cubby, it's tough to say that title out loud, isn't it?
Enigma?
Give us the full title of the show. Isn't it called Aaron Rodgers, Enigma?
Yes.
That's it. And everyone knows that Jeff Hardy's the one who's the real Enigma. Here's another one of these NFL memes. If you got up last weekend, the Bears played the 49ers, okay? You following that so far? If you got up from your couch to take a piss, you had more yards than the Bears did in the first half against the 49ers. At the end of the first half in that ball game, the San Francisco 49ers had how do I say this? They had 310 total yards. The Bears had 4. If you got up to take a leak, you had... And this final NFL meme, is this a true story? If it is, I am fascinated. I'm all in. I want to learn all about this. I don't know if it's true. Someone will have to do some of that research. Tyreek Hill, wide receiver, Miami Dolphins. They have some statistics here on Tyreek Hill. And if this is true, this is my new friggin' favorite athlete of all time. It says, Tyreek Hill in the year 2024. He has 4 receiving touchdowns, 5 newborn children. Can anyone get on their computer and look that up? Because if this is true, this is my guy.
Well, he does have 1, 2, 3, 4. He has 5 touchdowns. Let's see.
Okay. Those statistics
from,
are off.
like a week ago. Let's see. I'm looking up how many kids he has.
The stats I have in front of me: Tyreek Hill, 4 receiving touchdowns in the year 2024. During that same time period, 5 newborn children.
Yeah, I'm trying to see this.
That's insane.
Awesome.
Chill out, dude.
Awesome.
Chill out. Well, pull out, Ashley, not necessarily
Yes.
chill out.
Yeah, get off of your wife, poor woman.
Well, I don't think
it's all his wife.
Yeah.
Tough for a woman to have 5 babies in 1 year, actually.
Well, it
What are you
happens.
talking about, Dana?
Octomom.
What?
Okay, yeah.
Don't forget Octomom.
Ashley, I don't think all of those women came from his wife. I don't.
Four of them, I think, are with his wife. Because it says they welcomed their 4th child in the last 2 years.
But we're talking in the year 2024. 5 newborn children, it says here.
Oh gosh! So if he had, he might have all those kids with his wife, but then he also has. Oh geez.
Other kids with.
Oh, now it's clicking. Oh gosh,
that's
a
what
lot
we
of
have to
babies.
figure. This dude's just slinging it.
Yeah, it looks like he's got 3 kids with an ex-fiance. The newest kid was with his wife, and then there's another 4th woman.
Well,
but it looks like this year is it just one?
Yeah, we're talking about.
Yeah, I think it's just one this
Okay,
year.
well then this is just a joke. I just wanted to find out, is this legitimate? I mean, because it's possible. I know a guy who had 2 women pregnant at the same time, and he does not play in the National Football League. He is not built like Tyreek Hill, doesn't look like Tyreek Hill, doesn't have the money that Tyreek Hill has. So if an average dork that I know can have 2 women pregnant at the same time, I believe it's possible for Tyreek Hill to have 5 women pregnant at the same time and have all those babies born in the same calendar year. It could just be a joke. And tough to find these things out. I know you're all researching. Tough to find these things out. If it's true, this is my guy. I'll go out and get his jersey.
He should just get it snipped. He's got plenty of kids already.
Well, maybe it's against his beliefs.
Oh, yeah.
It looks like he has 2 kids that were born this year. One was born in May, and the other was born in November.
Where are the other 3?
March 2023, 2019, 2015.
All right. The Vikings could clinch a playoff spot before their next ball game. Okay, Josh, are you able to keep up with this?
Sometimes it gets confusing.
The Vikings could clinch a playoff spot even before their next ball game. So, Thursday night, there's a ball game Thursday night. If the LA Rams lose or tie the San Francisco 49ers, the Vikings are in. If that doesn't happen, they can also clinch a playoff spot if the Green Bay Packers beat or tie the Seattle Seahawks on Sunday Night Football. And then, of course, Peterborough has to lose. If none of those things happen, if the Vikings beat the Bears, they're in the playoffs. Whatever.
Cool. I'm excited.
Who do the Vikings play on Sunday?
They play Monday.
We play Monday against the Bears.
I'm right. Against the Bears?
Mm-hmm.
Do you see this? Do you see the purple on my pants? Go Vikings, beat the Bears. Mike Tramp,
That's
White
a White
Lion,
reference.
1987. You don't remember that story, Ashley?
No.
1987, I went to go see one of me and Josh's favorite bands, White Lion. Saw them in concert.
You were singing White Lion when you walked in the studio today.
What was I singing? All You Need Is Rock and Roll. Whoa. Yeah.
Good tune.
So again, me and my bros are at the White Lion concert, and their big hit "Wait" was killing it. And lead singer Mike Tramp, who's from the Netherlands or something, he has this kind of Arnold Schwarzenegger type accent, and the crowd wasn't really digging it. I got to be honest with you. The crowd was just sitting there saying, "Are you going to play Wait or what?" You know what I mean? Because first they got to play all these songs that nobody, and then we'll get to the hit single. So the crowd wasn't really into it, and Mike Tramp was attempting to get the Minnesota crowd fired up, and he pointed at his leather pants, which had multicolors all over it, and he says, because the Vikings were scheduled to play the Bears a couple days later, and Mike Tramp said, "Do you see the purple on my pants, Minnesota? Do you see it?" And we all said, yeah.
Sure.
"This purple is for the Vikings. Go Vikings, beat the Bears."
That's awesome.
And we went, yeah, dude.
That's the lamest attempt at a cheap pop ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, there's a ball game this Sunday. Cool. Are you going to play Wait, or are we going to... I don't know what else is going on here. 2 Golden Gopher football players, one on each side of the football, have been named first team All Big Ten. Congratulations to offensive tackle Arante Irsay, and he's going to be a draft pick this year. He's a big shot. And also, everyone's been talking about this kid, the freshman safety from Elko. Where the hell is he from? Esco? Coy Parrish. Those two guys were named first team all Big Ten, which is a big deal. Mm-hmm. And you know my friend Wang, right, John?
Yeah.
Wang told me that Parrish is the first Golden Gopher football freshman to make the all Big Ten first team since Darrell F. Me running sideways Thompson.
Was that right?
That's what Wang said.
Well, Wang knows stuff.
He does. He follows this stuff religiously because he has absolutely nothing else to do. Nothing. Darrell Thompson is one of my favorite people in the whole world. Caitlin Clark has been given the title of Time Magazine's Athlete for the Year of 20 then 24. She's a real big shot.
She is.
Yeah, it seemed obvious. I couldn't think of anybody else to even that would put in that conversation.
She was named the WNBA Rookie of the Year. She broke all kinds of records. She is now Time Magazine's Athlete for the Year 2024. WNBA league attendance was up 48% with her out there playing hoop. Past Time Magazine Athletes of the Year, Josh, include LeBron James, Simone Biles, Aaron Judge, Antonio Brown, and Todd Bertuzzi are past Time Magazine Athletes of the Year.
Todd Bertuzzi.
Is that right?
No, Antonio Brown and Todd. No, they.
Bertuzzi. Yeah, he didn't like you guys too much, did he?
He didn't like anybody.
No.
He didn't like anybody. Penn State basketball. Let's talk a little Nittany Lions basketball here. Their fans have a chance to get drunk this basketball season. I'm talking real deal, knee-crawling, drizzunk. Penn State, not known as a basketball school, really. They're a football school, but they're getting there. They received some votes in this week's AP poll, the Associated Press poll. So, Champs, a popular joint there on campus. I don't know if it's the same as the franchise Champs or if it's a different.
Well, didn't the Champs around here have two P's?
Yes.
So this one's spelled different.
Okay. Then this isn't the franchise. Anyway, Champs, a popular joint there on campus, Penn State. They're running a special. They're going to price their beers depending on Penn State's basketball ranking.
Unless the team is awful, that is a terrible idea. Well, even if they're awful, absolutely terrible idea.
Now, here's the part that makes you go, this is only from 10 to midnight on Mondays.
Okay.
Yeah,
but let's not be dicks about it. Let's just go ahead anyway.
Plenty, I think college kids, they'll adjust their schedules pretty easily.
Sure they will, college kids. For example, if the Nittany Lions are ranked 25th in the poll, beers will be 25 cents.
Whoa, that is sweet.
If they go all the way to number 1 cent beers until you puke your friggin' guts out.
You know, the trips we went to Jamaica were like an all-inclusive resort, the ones for work.
Oh, God, and that was a mistake.
I know. But so, do you remember? I remember the first time ordering a beer, and I think all they had was like Red Stripe, maybe a couple other ones.
That's the one I sucked down. Was Red Stripe, and I really did like it. So go ahead, I'm sorry.
And it was barely over a shot glass. I remember the glasses were so tiny.
Oh, no, I drank the bottled.
Oh, you got the bottled ones? Well, the pours were very short.
Really?
Yeah, so they weren't very big. So maybe that helps. Maybe they'll do the same type of thing here.
It could be, chintzy like that. And I guess they've done this before at this joint called Champs in the year 20 plus 20. This bar ran the same gimmick, and in that year, the Nittany Lions got all the way up to number 9 in the Associated Press poll. And so the kids were drinking 9-cent beers, and there were no survivors.
Hand the bartender a dime. Hey, keep the change. You're doing a great job back there.
There you go, kid. 9-cent beer. Right now, 25. Or at least they're close to that right now. They're close to that. Finally, before we get the hell out of here, you know how we love to be recognized here in Minnesota. Oh, God, if we are mentioned on a national news show, if
Well, I think it's cool to be proud of your state.
I don't.
Recognition.
I don't. We really love it around here when, like the other day, the Viking guy did the special Wayans Brothers dance, and then one of the Wayans brothers noticed it and mentioned it on social media. He mentioned us, Minnesota. That's just how we are around here. We have a complex. We love that kind of thing. So if that means anything to you, the Minnesota Timberwolves, right here in town. Timberwolves. You've been to a Timberwolves game or two.
Plenty of them. Yep.
We're among the top 10 most searched sports teams globally in 2024 on Google.
Wow.
That's pretty impressive, actually.
Do you think because of maybe the end of last season, people were searching who are the Minnesota Timberwolves?
Right.
Probably.
Kevin Garnett's
Alex Rodriguez probably helps that.
I'm sure.
Rudy Gobert being from France.
He is a Frenchman.
Adds an international flavor.
I suppose.
That's so cool. Awesome.
Yeah. We love it.
And speaking of the Wolves, I just saw this press release. KARE 11 is going to broadcast 5 games on their for free over-the-air television. First time the Wolves have been on over-the-air television since 2012.
When is this happening?
The 5 games starting on December 21st against Golden State, and then 4 more throughout the regular season. It's just going to be on free, good old-fashioned KARE 11 TV.
Wow.
So if you don't have cable or any of the streaming packages, you can just watch the Wolves with an antenna.
That reminds me of a text.
Where the hell do I get an antenna?
Actually, Josh, if you want to experience this in its purest form, the Wolves being on regular television again, and the thrill that might come with that type of thing, go to my brother's house.
Oh, is he still living old school?
You got to take a look at his entertainment center. He's still got one of those TVs that they banned decades ago because if it falls off the table, everyone in the house will die.
My grandma always warned us about that.
Why is he like that?
Yeah.
Because cable and other things like that costs more than a dime. So this is a real big story at my brother's house. It is. Channel 11, I've got that one, is what my brother is saying right now.
March Madness Jesus said, wow, KARE 11 must really be hurting for ratings since Randy left.
Yeah.
They're trying to get somebody back.
But this all reminds me of a text we got a couple days ago. We were having some conversation about, I think we were talking about baseball. Major League Baseball still is looking for better ratings, right? And a listener texted in and said, if Major League Baseball wants better television ratings, then they should put the games on television.
Yeah. It is crazy that it's not on regular cable.
I know.
So dumb.
The hoops you got to jump through to watch
Channel
sports.
9 or whatever.
What a suck farm. That's the way. That's the word that comes to mind for me. Suck farm. Thanks, Randy. Thanks, Brad.
No, they weren't on.
We'll be right back on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Yeah. There's a douchiness to them. The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Standard Heating and Air Conditioning wants to wish you a happy holiday season and wants to let you know that Standard Heating is ready if you face a heating emergency. Their expert team is available through the holidays to make sure you stay warm and safe, no matter what. Become a Smart Club member so that you'll have peace of mind knowing that you're covered for the upcoming winter season. For more info or 24/7 emergency heating services, call 612-824-2656. Comfort you deserve since 1930.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. You chose to hit play on this podcast today. Smart choice. Make another smart choice with AutoQuote Explorer to compare rates from multiple car insurance companies all at once. Try it at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
You met Lala Kent on Vanderpump Rules. Now Lala and her friends share everything on Give Them Lala.
First time that I've been away from Sosa. Day one of being gone all day.
Tell her the phone calls. So how far are you? Well, she's just like really hungry. All right.
I'm very proud of myself that I got through it, and very proud of you, Mom, that you
got through it as well.
Yeah.
We held the fort down.
Watch what Lala is talking about on YouTube or search for Give Them Lala wherever you listen.
Hell of a thing to spring on your folks. Hey, Mom, Dad, I had a baby. You did. You never even told us that you were pregnant. and then mom and dad, I had another baby. You know what I mean?
Go down
the
to
moms of the girls, too.
I was just going to say that would add some fun. The families of the women being there as well.
Like, wait a minute, you little man whore.
By the way,
our budget must have been out of control.
Oh, yeah. By the way, just so you know, this listener goes by the name of Roll Off Jesus. So, yes, both women knew about each other, both had baby boys, but it caused quite a stir in the family. I'll give your brother credit for being honest about what was going on. You know, he knocked one up. Shortly after, he knocked the other up, and he did the right thing and made sure everybody knew what was going on. I mean, I know a guy, well, he was a kid at the time. This is still one of the most incredible stories to me. And then we got to take a break. We can get back to this relationship stuff, I guess, later. I know a guy who was living with his mother. He was 18 or 19, maybe young, living with his mother, and also his girlfriend was living under the same roof as his mother. His mom was cool with that. Some parents aren't, but his girlfriend was living there with them. He gets the girl pregnant and never had the balls to tell his mother. Neither one of them, he or his girlfriend, never had the balls to tell his mother throughout the entire pregnancy.
Were they very religious, or he just for no real reason?
He was young. No real reason that I remember, Josh. He was just young and afraid, I think, of how his mother would react. So they go through the entire pregnancy. Believe it or not, mom never notices that the girlfriend is walking around the house all day pregnant. I don't know. I don't remember the specifics how she wore big clothes. Maybe she was a bigger lady. I don't remember. But mom never notices that the live-in girlfriend is pregnant. And then comes the baby. One morning at about 4 a.m., the baby's ready to cut loose. And that's when they sprung it on mom. Mom, wake up. My girlfriend's having a baby.
How dare you do that to your poor mother? Oh, my gosh. My mom would have a heart attack.
Out of a dead sleep, mom learns not only is this live-in girlfriend about ready to shoot a baby across the room, but I'm in charge now. You know, so that was the next step was, Mom, what do we do? You know, so she had no time to think about this, no time to prep. And she, out of a dead sleep, you got to get us to a hospital. My girlfriend's having a baby. So back to this guy with his brother and the two girls pregnant at the same time. There are way worse ways to go about it.
Yeah, I suppose so.
And that guy, despite that traumatic, that was his first baby, Josh. Despite that traumatic experience, oh man, has he had a mess of babies since then?
Oh, really?
He can't
got past that.
He got past that original trauma, and he'll just give any woman a baby. Doesn't matter.
Need a baby? Here you go.
Yep.
Going back to the text from Roll Off Jesus. Now I'm curious. Did he say it was his brother-in-law?
Brother.
His brother. Okay, so his brother gets two women pregnant. They have the baby within an hour and a half of each other at the same hospital.
Right.
So did the girls know each other prior? And I'm sorry to I'm obsessing about this, but I want to know, what was the relationship? Were they friends?
Best friends.
Oh, my gosh.
That'd be crazy.
No, dude.
Did they hate each other beforehand?
Right. I don't blame you for being fat. This is a fascinating story. I want to know more, too.
I just want to know, will I see this on a Dateline in the future or some sort of Hallmark movie where it's a great extended family and everybody loves each other and they have combined Christmases and things like that? Which way is it going to go? Well, am I going to see you on Hallmark or Discovery ID?
I want to know these. I want to know these friggin' things. Okay, here's the guy. Just got perfect timing. He got back to us on the situation. Our father, I don't know what this means. Our father. So how did the family deal with the dude's brother gets two girls pregnant, like Josh just explained? We asked, how did the family deal with this? What does this mean? Our father cashed in his birth certificate, but mom is still around.
So maybe the dad died?
Is that a
cashed in?
Okay. You ever have your mom look at you and say, I'm very disappointed in you? Well, let's just say my mom did the same thing towards his brother, but had smoke coming out of her ears. LOL. He has 4 boys now. with the same 2 women, 2 with each of them. So he continued this 2-woman scene, knocking them up. He has 4 boys now with the same 2 women, 2 with each of them. Josh, to your question, did they know each other? Did the women know each other beforehand? They didn't know about each other, but they do now, is how he puts it.
Oh, I bet.
No.
Son of a bitch.
Oh, my gosh. He went back and did it again.
That's living right there.
Widower Jesus, he's the first person who texts us in, and now more people are texting. Maybe it was a threesome. Well, no, they just said. They answered the question. They didn't know each other.
Maybe it was a threesome.
That would have been
Can you imagine?
Wouldn't that be something?
I'm jealous of the refractory period. I couldn't get 2 women pregnant in the same session. No way.
Maybe when you were a young man. Let me tell you something, roll off, Jesus. If you got any more stories, we're at 651-989-9393.
Yeah, you've been the most interesting part of our day.
Where the hell are you from? Does your hometown know about this? You and your family, you must be infamous in your hometown for all these dramatic stories.
You guys smell that? It smells bad out here, too. I'm starting to think this whole town smells like doo-doo.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Yeah, we're about ready to pull the plug. But I'll be damned. Our listening audience texting in. We always appreciate it. 651-989-9393. Ever since we started the conversation about Tyreek Hill, wide receiver for the Miami Dolphins, the word is he's had 5 newborn babies just this year alone, okay? That's what started the conversation, and we've gotten from our listening audience, our wonderful listening audience, all these dramatic pregnancy circumstances. And my brother had 5 kids with 3 different women in an hour and a half, and then the dog turned up pregnant. Yeah, all these great stories. I just love it. I'm drawn to it. Here's a listener who says, my cousin got his new wife and his ex pregnant at the same time.
Oh, no.
He was in jail most of the pregnancy and during both births.
Well, maybe that's better for him. It might be safer.
Intentional?
Yeah.
Got a brand new wife, Josh, but still he goes and sees the ex and he bumps with her, gets her pregnant. Isn't it amazing how some dudes, they just, every move they make, they put a baby in somebody.
Yeah, they hate the withdrawal method. Hate it.
Weak pull-out game, whatever it might be. And then there's guys out there who sling it upside down and get off the hook over and over and over again. He was in jail for most of the pregnancy and during both births. And the dude who texted in put laughing faces next to that.
I love that.
Another listener says, after we broke up, my ex had 3 babies with 3 different daddies.
She got it done.
Talk about dodging a bullet, he says. He calls that dodging a bullet.
Definitely.
And one other listener says, my mom found out she was a grandmother when my brother called her on the telephone hungover to tell her.
Oh, by the way.
Mom, are you up, Mom? Oh, you are up? Oh, I got a terrible hangover. You got a grandkid. Bye. I was on the ground floor for when a guy that I used to know got a phone call telling him that his 18-year-old child would like to meet him. His 18-year-old child that he was never aware of would like to meet him. So he gets a call from this girl that he had a brief rendezvous with 18-some years ago. Yeah, hey, what are you doing? What are you doing calling me? And she tells him, well, I've been raising your child all this time, and I think it's about time the 2 of you meet up. And he said, huh?
Did he have a girlfriend or a
pot
wife
to
at the
piss
time?
in? No.
No.
Did he, at the time, did he have a pot to piss in? No. Did he have a girlfriend or a wife at the time? No.
Did he end up meeting
That's
the kid?
lucky then.
Yeah, he went. Yeah, he I don't know how valuable a character he ever became in that child's life, or now the kid was an adult now at 18. But yeah, he said, all right, yeah, okay. Nice talking to you again. Bye.
I can imagine you sitting down and being a little awkward thinking of dad stuff you should have done. It. Yeah. It's like, You know how to ride a bike? Oh, you do. Okay.
Throw a ball.
You got your license? Oh, you got that too, huh?
And the kid just says, "Look, I just wanted to meet you. All right, we don't have to go to the father-son potato sack race together or anything."
The shoes, you tie those. Okay. You know how to tie your shoes. This text says, "Wait, what's this pull-out method Nick speaks of? That's from Father of 7, Jesus."
Whoa, you
homie.
dirty man!
Wow,
you're filthy, is what you are.
That's a lot of babies.
All right, so back to earlier, we were talking about ice fishing, and we were surprised that a regular guest of the program, Brad Ryder, ice fishes. Just doesn't seem like someone who does for whatever reason.
He just doesn't.
And you got a text here. This person says, "My aunt is from Mississippi. She moved up here and heard we were going ice fishing. Her response was, 'You mean y'all catch frozen fish?' We still give her crap to this day, and it's been decades."
Mm-hmm.
Cute.
I can see the confusion from someone who's never seen ice in their life outside of in a beverage.
Absolutely. It took me a while to realize that, they don't all die in the winter and then spawn again in the summer.
Mm-hmm. It is interesting how, if you're not from around these parts, that some of these things can be totally confusing to you. Even in the year 2024, where you can look everything up on the internet, there are still people who are like, "Wait a minute, what? You drive?" The part that really throws them, people that I've met from other parts of the world who have they cannot get over the fact that we drive motor vehicles on the ice. That scares the hell out of them. And I never was wildly comfortable with that idea either, but I did it over and over again. That's the part they really can't figure out, is that we drive our vehicles on the ice.
I think I remember each crack and pop noise the first time I ever was driven on the ice.
Yep, that can be really scary for the first time.
My uncle was ice fishing up on Mille Lacs, and he locked his keys in the truck, so he used the OnStar on his phone, and he got a lady from Georgia, and she's like, "Sir, you're in the middle of a lake right now." You had to explain ice fishing to her.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, my dad had a story where he was ice fishing on Lake Minnetonka, and some dude comes up knocking on the door. He was from Australia, this guy, visiting someone he knew in Minnesota, and was completely thrown by what he saw when he got to Wayzata and looked out on the lake. He saw all the fishing shacks and cars on the ice. He said, "What in God's name is this?" So he took it upon himself to walk out on the ice. My dad's house just happened to be the nearest one to shore, and he asked my dad to explain everything that was going on. "What the hell are you doing? What are you doing? How do you do it? What's your car doing out here?" And he said it was, my dad did say that overall he thought the guy was about, quote, 3/4 prick.
Oh, is that right?
The guy was kind of a douche, I guess, overall. He's from Australia. You give him a break. They don't know what the hell they're talking about. But he did find it. And Big Al was there, too. They did find it interesting that they got to sit the guy down and explain everything that was going on. But he was 3/4 prick.
If you're over half prick, it's going to take a while to understand. I remember the first time I saw a semi-truck on the ice, and I thought, well, that doesn't look right.
I've never seen that before.
When was the first time you saw that?
It was at an event. Was it a polar plunge maybe we were doing?
I remember this, Josh. This was on Mille Lacs.
Yes.
This was like 1990, long time ago.
It was a long time ago.
And there was a dude, there was a dude who was doing snowmobile backflips.
Yep.
And his equipment truck actually went out on the ice. Yeah.
It was just a few years back, a couple fell in from, it was at some event as well.
Fell in?
Fell into the lake. Just went through the ice. That's crazy. I can't imagine. Like those ice road truckers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Balls of steel.
Because how thick does that ice have to be? And you want to be very, very sure before you drive out there.
You remember when that show was hot?
Yeah, I watched a couple episodes.
I used to do bar gigs, as you know, up at Pobs in Andover, and there was this dude I got friendly with up there named Mike. He was a tow truck driver. Mike didn't have a lot of luck with the ladies, and one night Mike and I were sitting at Pobs, and these cute-looking gals walked up and sat by us, and I said, "Oh, hey, ladies, I'm Nick," and I introduced myself, and I said, "This is my buddy, Mike. He's a tow truck driver." And they didn't even acknowledge Mike. They were kind of looking around the bar. And Mike looked at me as if to say, see, women never have an interest in me. And I said, ladies, did you hear me? And they said, what? And I said, this is my buddy Mike. He's an ice road truck driver. And they said, he is?
There you go. Yeah, that sounds sweet.
Tow truck driver, they didn't give two pumps. When I called him an ice road truck driver, they wanted to, I put him on the spot. He had to lie about it.
Oh, heck yeah. Dude, I'd be all about that. That's so cool.
The ice road trucker, Mike. All right, we got to get going again.
Shout out to the brother of Roll-Off Jesus, likely on his commute from his third job to his fourth to afford some child support before he heads to his fifth job tonight. Box truck rapper Jesus texted a birthday shout-out to his amazing boss and mentor, Billy, and happy birthday to I'm No Jesus Jesus.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. 93
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. New episodes drop each weekday. If your podcast platform has ratings, go ahead and give us 5 stars and maybe give our enemies 1. Thanks, and here's a word from our sponsor.
Standard Heating and Air Conditioning wants to wish you a happy holiday season and wants to let you know that Standard Heating is ready if you face a heating emergency. Their expert team is available through the holidays to make sure you stay warm and safe, no matter what. Become a Smart Club member so that you'll have peace of mind knowing that you're covered for the upcoming winter season. For more info or 24/7 emergency heating services, call 612-824-2656. Comfort you deserve since 1930.